Good evening. Good evening. Happy Saturday. How are you guys doing? Shout out to Jose Negron and Latin Splaining with Denise. Thank you guys for popping in the chat so early. I'm so mad at myself. I should have talked to Denise before doing this part two. She definitely motivated and inspired this part two. So, Denise, thank you for being here, my queen sister from another mother. I know you're gonna bring the spice and everything we need. But good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope all is well. I'm gonna definitely drop the link to the stream at some point in this podcast this evening, and I'm just so happy you guys are here with me. I really am. First things first, please like and subscribe. To the channel for sure. I'm definitely trying to get my little likes and subscribers up, and yeah, it's pretty cool that I'm finally getting somewhere. But yes, did you guys see my live workout this morning on YouTube and Instagram? Oh my gosh, like things always be going wrong at the last minute, but I'm learning and it's all good. I'm going to get better with this. I'm going to reach out to my people on social media. Good evening, Susan Satin. How are you, darling? I have white Moscato as well. I have Bartonera. I'm going to definitely turn my camera on as well, show you guys the bottle I'm drinking. I don't want to really be promoting alcohol and everything like that, but I'm going to stick with alcohol is grapes and grapes is fruit and it makes it okay because it's healthy. I'm sticking with that. But good evening, Susan Satin. I hope you're doing good. I want to chop it up with y'all real quick. I have a pop-up shop I'm doing this month in August. Summer's over. I'm gonna be in New Jersey doing a pop-up shop. I'm gonna be promoting my KFIT gear, working on a banner right now for my table, trying to get some things in order, some games I can play at the pop-up shop. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna definitely go live on YouTube when I'm at the pop-up shop, show you guys what the pop-up shops look like in person. Let you see the atmosphere, let you see the different vendors that will be there. You can see the other kind of entrepreneurs, products and services they have. So far, there's an anime vendor there who does her own creative freelance anime, and she actually puts her anime designs on cups and shirts and T-shirts. There's an artist that actually creates and does live art and turns her art into products. There's a baker who does a lot of bakery and cake pops and cakes and puddings and like those futuristic cakes. There's a woman that does product and skincare and personal dermatology care. So there's a lot of different vendors there so far, and I haven't even met all the vendors, but I'll definitely go live that day. I probably won't do a wine and FaceTime that day, or I may not do a live 8 a.m. workout that day because I have a lot of things to do. But definitely something I'm really excited about coming up really soon. That's going to be August 13th, 1 to 7. It's a Layu or a Lao event. I know I'm butchering it up, but it's an event where I'm supposed to look real tropical. Like I'm supposed to wear like a lei on my neck and look all islandy or whatever. Like I'm supposed to get like a coconut bikini bra or grass skirts. So I gotta go shopping to find something that looks like that because that's the theme of the event. But I plan to be suited up in K-Fit gear that whole day, and I'll probably try to just have a K-Fit gear outfit on that has that tropical look. Definitely have a lime green K-Fit gear two-piece suit, which is my avatar. If you see my avatar, guys, right now, that light gray suit I have on is the K-Fit gear yoga suit. I'm thinking about wearing that K-Fit gear yoga suit in one of my tropical colors. I have a lime green, have a bubblegum pink, so I may do one of those yoga suits at some point, switch out of the Liu or the Lao theme at some point because this event is going to be indoors. But yeah, that's coming up for me. I'm really excited about that. I've been promoting the hell out of that as much as possible, trying to get a lot of support for people to come through and meet the vendors and make a purchase and support small businesses. So definitely excited about that. Next up is my live workout this morning. So I tried to be really cute and fancy and tried to do a live workout via YouTube as well as IG Live. And I tried to do Zumba today. So the problem was I created a whole playlist, and of course Instagram banned me when they heard me playing the Macarena, which was so funny. I was like da 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 Macarena, da 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 da, hey, jumping up and down like a big goofball. And Instagram was like, beep, you better stop right now, and they cut my video off. So I'm like, okay, I know I can't do this video. So I ended up doing the whole video without the audio of the entire playlist. And so it looked like I was just dancing for no reason. And I'm not the best dancer, so it probably came out really goofy. But I'm definitely way beyond what people think of me right now. I'm my own individual, and I had fun with this, so it's all good. Who doesn't love the freaking Macarena, right? No matter how old you are, we all love the Macarena. We all know. Let me tell you about my boyfriend. My boyfriend name is Nino Nino. I don't want him, can't stand him. Da 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 Macarena. Okay, we all love the Macarena, but respect to the producers, directors, writers of the Macarena. But yeah, they cut my video, and since I was live on YouTube at the same time, YouTube didn't get that error message. But I just wanted to keep it clean, so I did the whole video without the audio of the entire playlist. Try to throw the playlist on IG, in my story, but realized afterwards that I didn't make the playlist link clickable, so people wouldn't be able to click the playlist. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't get the Zumba experience. So that kind of sucked. I was a little bit disappointed about that, but I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out how to do it. But yes, Denise, I saw you this morning on YouTube. Thank you for popping in. It really made my day. It definitely didn't go the way I wanted, but it's all good. Suds and Satin, thank you for popping in as well. Like I always catch you popping in on my live workouts on Saturdays. I don't know if you're really doing it, but it doesn't matter if you guys are doing it. The fact that you guys pop up and clicks in my little lit up ring on IG means the whole world to me. I know we'll all get there when we get there, but it's hard remembering all the rules for all the platforms. I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm now being on YouTube a little bit more, although I'm streaming through StreamYard. So it's like, all right, every platform has its own type of restrictions about what you can and cannot do, what you can add, what you cannot add, from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube to Facebook. It's a lot. So I'm like, you know what? You live and you learn, So I've definitely been banned from YouTube, from Instagram for a while. I had my rights taken to play any music on any videos. I've had my account inactive for several hours or whatever the case is, and couldn't post or do anything because of breaking rules. So I didn't want that problem because most of my fan base and follower base is on Instagram. So I'm definitely gonna take the footage and pretty much loop it to regular music and probably do something with it, because it was definitely a good time. Although I just did a 2-step the entire time because being in my house with the AC on, trying to keep the momentum up, talk, explain what I'm doing, look at myself, make sure I can see my full body on both platforms, make sure I'm clear, make sure I explain the songs. That was a lot. That was a lot. But it's all good. I gotta just get creative with this. So adulting part 2. So we had a great stream last week on adulting part 1. We had a lot of panel guests. It definitely went over an hour, almost 2 hours. And I'm always telling people I'm afraid of 2-hour streams and more. But it definitely could have went on much longer than it went on. And the Latina Splaining with Denise Gonzalez, Latin Explaining, says, you know what, we only touched the surface, KFIT. We need to go deeper. We need to talk about the solutions. What can we do now with this information? I'm like, you know what, you're right. We definitely need a part 2. And I definitely should have talked to her offline before doing this, and I didn't. But she's awesome and she's amazing. So she's gonna pretty much throw some diamonds and jewels and some crystals on us tonight when she jumps on the platform, I'm sure, to give us some great ideas about what some of those solutions are. And I definitely am going to use the screen share factor today and really talk about some of these tips that, Google, the internet, say we can do for adulting. So I'm going to actually do that now, because every time I say I'm going to share the screen, I don't share the screen. And then the next thing you know is like I end up talking and have a whole conversation and I never get into what I say I'm going to get into. So I was looking at this prior to going live today. And I saw, here are 16 tips to help you be a better adult. So this chick is like shaving her face with like flexi rods on her hair, but whatever. Adulting, please wait. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can? Okay, great. I see some comments in the chat. I'm going to get right back to you guys. Please mingle, greet each other. Hello, Ramon. How are you? Good to see you. I'm trying to be committed to this share screen process. I'm always saying I'm going to share my screen. I never do. So adulting, please wait. I think all of us in this process who are somewhat middle-aged or feeling overwhelmed about being an adult, we felt like we saw this meme at somewhere in our brain or in our life. But anyway, getting back to the point, these are 16 tips to help you be a better adult, according to ladders.com. So they say exercise daily. Stop looking for handouts. Listen more than you speak. Sleep 8 hours a night. Quit getting shit-faced. Take full responsibility for your life. Educate yourself daily. Spend less than you earn. Have passions other than Netflix and Xbox. Ooh. Don't be a dick. Work on something you love. Use social media responsibly. Have goals. Don't let mommy and daddy make decisions for you. Be polite. Do what needs to be done. And that's that. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen at this point. And I'm definitely going to drop the link to the panel. And yay, you guys see it? You see, I learned from the best. I learned from the community of not only Mr. Colden Spear, which I hate, I just brought that up. Everyone's like, KFIT, why did you just say that? But not only have I learned from Jose, Denise, Ramon, Susan Satin, I did it without saying I'm going to do it and not doing it. So tonight we're talking about adulting part 2. Now that we know that we are all related and a lot of us, experience the same thing when it comes to adulting, looking for, excuses or trying to be better than our parents or, those unanswered questions we have or, why we weren't taught a certain way. Now that we know everything we know about adulting, as we barely touched the surface in part 1 last week about adulting, how do we move now with it? What is the solution? Is it any of the 16 things I just read about on ladders.com? Do you guys have different opinions or viewpoints about that? Please let me know. If you would like to join the stream, you can do so. I will definitely drop the link in a few seconds. I definitely want to hear from you, especially Latin Explaining with Denise Gonzalez. I know she has some things to say about this topic. And I want to have an open discussion. Disclaimer, definitely not here to offend anyone in any way. We don't want any abbreviated, behavior, no intimidation, no bullying, no racist comments, no discrimination comments at all before joining the platform. Please, let's save that, for another arena. Let's have a mature conversation with each other. Let each other speak, let's not speak on top of each other. And let's be respectful. That's all I ask. Thank you so much. And I definitely will have that disclaimer on the end of this video when it goes live, and I'll have it in the caption on YouTube when I finally post it to YouTube. So thank you for the 5 viewers who are watching me right now. I hope you guys definitely hit that like button to this video if this conversation sounds interesting to you. So I'm going to definitely drop the link to the panel right now for you guys, because I know you guys have something to say, and thank you for sharing your Saturday weekend with me, no matter if you're in your car, you're in your crib, you're at work, you're with friends, you're with family. Thank you for actually taking the time to log into my live video on YouTube to see what's up with me and pull up on me and chill with me and hang out. It's like we're all at the bar, but we're just virtual right now. So I just dropped the link to the panel in the chat on YouTube. So if you would like to join the panel to discuss, where do we go from now on this conversation, please let me know. As we'll have one guest already in the backstage, and I'll bring that person up momentarily. And thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. I appreciate y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to add my first guest, who is behind the backstage. You guys know him so well for his funny comments about the weather. He's talking about the weather in every conversation he's in, no matter whose platform he's on. He's always talking about his favorite season. You guys know who that is, Mr. Jose Negron. Hi.
Good evening, KFIT. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, Miss Negron?
Well, as you can tell, today weather nice is not it's not a pleasant day for me, but I'm here nevertheless.
Right. Well, thank you for being here, especially since you were definitely a part of Adulting Part 1. You don't really need much of a recap. You know exactly what we discussed. And as I can't forget what Denise said, we barely scratched the surface of the conversation. So
Hmm.
thank you for being back here, because you were there before. So you definitely know what we're talking about and which direction we're trying to move with the conversation. And, the solution, hopefully, at the end of this conversation is some positive feedback that people can realistically take and apply to their everyday lives, to try to be a better person if you may be someone who suffers with this situation we call adulting, so to say.
Yeah, well, we always like to talk about how, as we were younger, that we're not going to, you know, make the same mistakes our parents made, or we're going to do a better job than our parents. Sometimes that's not always the case because of the circumstances that one leads. The fact of the matter is, when I was a child, you know, I led a sheltered life. So I'm kind of, in some ways, I'm a little bit of a late bloomer. Okay. And Ramon, okay, first of all, 92 degrees, that's no fatal. Okay. So let's make that perfectly clear.
He
But
just shaved his hair off, so he should be feeling nice and cool. Remember on your live video, he showed us his nice, cool haircut. He shouldn't be hot at all.
no, he's talking about how I cannot, how I melt when it gets around 100 degrees. I mean, come on.
Okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
But
so I know you probably feel like you definitely take, God bless your mom and your family's, loss in your soul, and my condolences to, those of you who lost, that you're still experiencing them. But I'm pretty sure, although you don't have biological children, you probably, take a lot of what your mother and father taught you and you apply it to your life, or maybe you take the meat and leave the bones, now that you're a grown up, so you know where we're going with this conversation.
well, the fact of the matter is, my mother taught me many positive things. I mean, among the things that my mother taught me is to treat everyone the same way that you want to be treated, and just deal with everybody where they're at. And Denise, okay, first of all, let's not get into the topic about shaving my hair off. Okay, let's stick with the topic. Okay, I know you love the show, but let's cool it.
Listen, I shaved my head off, Denise. I didn't go military like Caesar man bald, but I went low as like a Ken Barbie doll, like the low, Mattel fro or slick back. When I decided to cut all the perm out of my hair and I wanted to just go straight natural, so to say, with the afro, and it was a hard phase because you had to really embrace that head. I have a really nice sized juicy head. So for me, I had to really embrace that and really, get that makeup and energy going because it was hard to embrace that short haircut like that. So for men who go totally bald, I'm pretty sure they probably have the same insecurities when they really decide to shave their whole head bald.
Yeah, even though I'm kind of thin on top, but getting back on the subject, it's very easy to say, when we're teenagers, that we're going to do things differently. A lot of the times we end up doing the same things our parents made, um, because we're familiar with the known, and we fear the unknown.
Oh hell no. Sorry, Jose. I see. I'm looking in the chat. I'm sorry. I want to just catch up to the chat real quick because I see
Okay.
Denise and Ramon are saying a lot. So Denise says, if you were to shave your head completely, all of that heat issues, you have to go away, Jose. And then Ramon says Jose belongs in the Arctic where the Eskimos are. He needs to live in an igloo without heat. KFIT, you may do what Doja Cat just did. She shaved her head and her eyebrows. Heck no, Denise. You're lucky my head is in the shape of an egg. I wouldn't look good without hair. Also, my forehead is huge. My whole face is huge. I just have to embrace it.
Well, first of all, let's keep it 100. We have not had experienced winters in New York for a long time.
Oh God, Jose. I'm not ready for the winter. Like, listen, again, that's a part of adulting. Remember when you were a kid? Did your parent bundle you up like a freaking Eskimo to the point where you can even bend your joints, like your knees and your elbows, because you were so stuffed with sweaters and hoodies and scarves and socks and more socks? Like, oh, those are like the little childhood memories. Like, what if I have to pee? How am I get out of this fast enough?
Well, I remember the good old days when you can trust the winters to be like cold, when you can trust the temperature to go down to single digits. Now we can't. We're fighting for the days when we see temperatures in the low 20s, which is for me it's spring like.
Very true, for sure. I mean, definitely, like, I'll agree with you. Global warming is a real thing, and the seasons have definitely changed compared to how they were back in the late 80s and 90s, as of the 2000s and, beyond. Like, our summers are shorter, our winters are not as cold, our summers are definitely not as long as they used to be, not as, humid and everything. So, you're right about that. We just be joking.
Well, with all due respect, it seems like summer is like 12 months out of the year almost.
I mean, I feel like summer is a really short season. I feel like it literally feels like a 3 week period. It doesn't even feel like a whole 6 week period. Or however, what is it, 3 months every season? So that would be for 12 weeks. It doesn't even feel like a 12-week season. It feels like it's like a 3 week season and that's it.
Well, not for me. It feels like it's a 24-week season as far as summer is concerned.
Right, but I definitely appreciate you sharing what you took from your parents. I think some of us do acknowledge it, some of us don't acknowledge it because some of us may have not the best relationship with our parents, so we may not acknowledge what we actually naturally get from our parents. Some of us, we don't mind saying, it's a part of our story. We all have an individual story, whether or not we want to share it or not. Makes a difference, but it's each person who owns up to their individuality and their story. Um, it's important to shed that light. I was actually talking to someone about doing an ancestry DNA test or like one of those like 23andMe or those little DNA tests that you take and then they give you your whole family or it gives you your whole genetic background, what your DNA consists of.
Yes, I heard about it. I might do one just to see what is my DNA makeup is. Maybe I'm like 5% Eskimo.
I want to put that question in the chat. Everybody in the chat, would you do an ancestry DNA kit or a 23andMe test? The test you take, you swab your mouth, you send it back to the lab, and allegedly it tells you what your DNA consists of from every culture and who your next of kins are down to their names and addresses. Would you guys in the chat be down to do that? I'm definitely think I'm gonna do that. Me and my daughter want to do that. My oldest daughter, who's 23, she's like, I want a DNA kit. I'm like, hey, you don't trust your mom? She's like, no, silly, it's not that. She's like, I want to do one. I'm like, I feel you. I know who my parents are, and I still want to do one. It's just a curiosity thing.
Mhm. Okay. I see that MK is in the chat, and he says no, they found it to be false.
Okay, I'm definitely trying to catch up to the comments. Let me catch up to that. I see a lot of comments. I need to hire
Uh,
some moderators, Jose. You're right. I need some loyal, legit friends that won't mind showing up for me every time I go live. That's the hardest part for me. Finding people that are really show up all the time. That accountability is a real big deal.
well, okay. Well, what you do is you take a look at the people who are faithful appearing, to your platform, and then you decide who is going to be. a moderator. There is a way. I think after the stream, if you highlight the cursor to a person in the chat, you can make any one of those people a moderator.
Okay, so dear chat, KFIT would like to know, could any of you guys be a moderator for me? I would really appreciate it, and I would be a moderator for you guys on your platform as well. Sincerely, KFIT. So hopefully
Well,
that goes over well with the chat.
okay. Well, you're the one that makes the determination who is a moderator, not us. I mean, but I'm sure people like myself and Denise and Ramon, you know, we will be considered honored. I mean, to be moderators, and that way we can make sure that no one puts in any inappropriate comments or things of that nature. Because the fact of the matter is, when your platform grows, it gets to the point when you're going to have trolls, and you're going to have people who could try to enter inappropriate comments.
That's very true. Shout out to all of my new subs. I have 50 subs. I'm so excited about that. So all the advice you guys have given me, you, Jose, Denise, Ramon, even Golden Goddess, who's not here, she's always in my DMs on YouTube. Like give me like real critical review, like you should do this, or like very engaging, very helpful. And I'm like, wow, thanks. I really appreciate it. It came without me having to look for it really hard, thanks to you, Jose. So I really, really appreciate you.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, the fact of the matter is, when it comes, I mean, look, we should try to do what we can to support each other, because let's keep it real. Our platforms are not exactly huge. I just recently made, okay, I have only 121 subs now. Denise has about 350 something, and Ramon, I think he has like about 20 or 30. So it's we need to do what we can to help each other, and that's how you develop a close knit community.
Absolutely. Well, I'm grateful to have you guys for real, because I just remember this one thing Golden Goddess told me. She's like, "You don't want to be a sitting duck." I'm like, "You're right. I definitely don't want to be a sitting duck, because I'm already quirky and like different, and bubbly, whatever the case." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't, because I'll be cluelessly walking into the wrong live chats, getting all chopped up and beat up in the first 40. Like, oh no, I'm not ready."
Well, it's a learning process, and in my year that I've been a serious YouTube creator, unfortunately, I have made some mistakes along the way, but you live and you learn.
Just want to send a shout out to MK Echo Chamber. Thanks for joining the chat. Denise, thanks for the love. Appreciate you guys in the chat, mingling and everything, making the chat lit. Definitely appreciate you guys. I see a few people in the chat said the DNA ancestry test kits are false and conclusive. So I did hear some rumors of that. Didn't know how accurate that was. So I have a half sister from my dad, and she did it. She did one of them, and she put the results online. Like they sent her like a spreadsheet data graph, or like a breakdown of her alleged genetic makeup, and she posted it on social media. So I don't know, but it definitely sounds worth trying. Definitely sounds interesting, but I definitely hear you guys in the chat. You think it's janky, it ain't worth it. But Jose and me said we're gonna try it though, right, Jose?
Yeah, eventually before the year is over.
Yeah, I hear they're super cheap now too. They're not over like $100. They're like under $100 now. I think they were like 99.99 when they first came out. Those kits, or even more
Hmm.
than that. I think at one point.
Yeah.
So I want to just acknowledge one thing I saw in the chat that was interesting. Susan Satin said in regards to the topic of adulting part two. She says we should stop looking for handouts. That should be number one. Agreed. You know, definitely. I remember being in my early 20s. I have two children. In case you guys don't know, my oldest daughter is 23. My youngest daughter is 13 years old. I'm 40. I always remember at one point in my life always feeling like, no one babysits for me. No one ever comes by to ask me, do I need a break for the weekend? And I would be jealous of my other friends who didn't have kids or who had kids that had more what I thought was supportive family members that would babysit. And I would be so jelly, like, oh my gosh, all my friends have like the coolest family. My family sucks. They never want to babysit. And then it became a point where, like, you know what? I can't keep saying that for the rest of my life. I have to realize that, you know what, these are my children. I laid down to have them. I cannot expect anything from anybody, who wasn't in the bedroom with me shaking the sheets, right? So if that means I don't go out as much as I want to and hang out and get the free time I want to, that's what it is. That just means KFIT, Cashel Smith, is gonna have to find alternative ways to, have her personal time. And that was a part of the growing pains of adulting where there was no rule book, there was no lesson plan, it was just like, this shit sucks.
Well, the fact of the matter is, once you became a parent, everything changes. That now the priority is for the well-being, or it should be the well-being of the child or your children, which means, unfortunately, at times that you may not be able to go out and socialize because, I mean, first of all, you have to think about, making sure that your child's okay, and if you do go out, trying to find like a responsible adult that will look after the child, and that's not always easy, and particularly nowadays when you hear about people
Hmm.
doing crazy stuff with kids. I mean, it could be scary out there.
For sure. I mean, there are some relatives I won't even, or some friends I would never even approach to babysit, and it's just because I feel like when you become a parent, it's just like there's no one that's gonna watch my kid or take care of my kid the way I'm gonna take care of my kid. And you really have to think about the mindset of certain people, and how they live and who they are when it comes to your family, your children, So if there's certain things you don't tolerate in your household, you should not put your child in an environment that's opposite of what your household is, in my opinion. And if you have to result to that extreme, then you need a plan C and a plan D and a plan E. But again, sometimes we take what we saw our parents do when we were little, or sometimes we get creative, or we do without. Everyone's different, but yeah, there's certain people I just don't even ask, friends and family, and the offers come like, oh, I can babysit for you. I'm like, oh, that's cool, thank you. No disrespect, but no, thank you. Love you, but no, thank you. And but to
And
each his own.
yeah, and also what gets to be a problem is that for single moms to date, because first of all, um, you have to do a real good job vetting the people who wants to date single mothers socially, because the fact of the matter is, at some point, if it does get serious, to expose your child to this adult male. Good evening, daughter.
Hi,
Hi guys.
welcome to the no weather spear. There's no weather spear here, so just let you
Ah,
know. There's no weather or rodent spears around. Okay, just letting you know.
ah.
That's right. Give me the cold shoulder now.
Oh no.
Yeah, but
No,
we here talking about adulting and what we learn from our mommies and poppies, and we grown now, and moving forward, how we handle it, what we do. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think, last week we talked about all the issues and the root of, like, the cause of this whole sense of being lost. You know, I think one of the things that it's worth looking into, and I think it's something that a lot of us have to start doing. It all starts with therapy.
Mhm.
You can't help to have the past that you had. That's it. It's gone. It's the past. There's nothing you can do. You have to work with your present, and the first thing you got to take care of is your mind, because you can do all the things that you want, but you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to have any goals or direction. You're just gonna participate in this exercise called life, but just not by choice. It's just how you get pushed around, and you're not gonna get the best out of life unless you get your mind right, because it's only through getting therapy that people hold themselves accountable. You can't hold yourself accountable when you keep protecting yourself.
But what do we say to the people that don't believe in therapy? There are many millennials and adults that don't believe in therapy, and definitely some of the, like my mom. I don't know. She's a Gen Xer. She's born in '62. She's not big on the
It's
therapy
a
thing.
baby boomer. Yeah.
The baby
Yeah.
boomers. So what do you say
She's
to
a
those
baby
people?
boom. She,
Baby.
Baby boomers for the most part don't believe in therapy. It's very scarce, the group of in their generation that believes in therapy. Same from Gen X. It's very scarce. For many reasons. You got to look at the culture at the time. That was during the baby boomer era. It was just being tested, and people associated mental illness with, um what was his name? Oh my god, what was his name? It escaped my mind. Manson, but I forgot his name. Jose, what was his name? The dude, the hippie
uh,
dude that had the cult.
oh yeah, Manson. I forgot his
Was
first
it
name, but I
Charles
think I know what you're talking.
Manson?
Charles Manson. But I'm unfortunately I am the exception. I'm one of the few baby boomers that's currently in therapy right now.
But
Good.
that's great. But you know that in your generation, not a lot of people can say that. Charles
That is
Manson.
very
Thank
true.
you, MK. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
Charles Manson. That was a
yeah.
problem with that generation. And if you even if you go to the silent generation, that was even worse, because during that time, the mental health was not what it is today. There was less mental illness being diagnosed, you know. But in reality, people only took care of their brains when they became corroded, and it was with draconian treatments. So a lot of people shied away from it, and thought that, well, you only need a therapist when you are, or a psychologist or a psychiatrist when you're insane. And that is not true. In reality, the average human being gets over, you know their upbringing at 50 years old, with or without trauma. So you're gonna bounce around your life and waste it, because until you're 50 and you can get over that by yourself. And some people might not, because they were never taught tools to face life. We're seeing this today. The whole snowflake mindset comes from, you know this whole notion of, you know I don't need therapy, and I'm good. I don't have any issues. And these are the same people that you see online getting offended by everything, you know trying to change the world and what makes sense in order for them to feel good in their weirdness, instead of understanding that the world is never designed that way. The world is a very rough place, and it's a place that. Oh, Ramon, I think you have feedback. The world's a space that, I don't know if it's Ramon. It's listening to us. Ramon, mute yourself.
Or maybe we to YouTube in the background.
Yeah, he needs to mute himself because if not, it's gonna continue to do that noise.
You
So
log back in,
you
Ramon.
can mute him. You can mute him until he get. We don't know if it's there. We go. So yeah, we have to
Um,
go into deep into things that are going to be very painful to accept, in order for us to um, become better, because that's the only way you're gonna adult successfully. You're not going to adult success because everything, even the tips that you shared earlier today, I would say 80% of them depend on your mindset. The whole concept of not accepting handouts. Well, you're only going to be self-sufficient when you understand that it's your responsibility to take care of yourself. You're going to be a productive member of society if you take care of yourself. If you are But for that, you have to hold yourself accountable for stuff. And that doesn't happen today. Unfortunately, people don't, like MK said, my younger brother thinks therapy is a scam. We know what happens when people embrace that mindset, unfortunately, because there could be two reasons. Is It's very painful to deal with what's going on and is trying to protect himself, or, and this is my opinion, I could be wrong, but this is my opinion, right? Or it could be that some people are just too scared. That's it. That's literally how it is. And but you gotta, as an adult, you gotta understand that you can be whatever you want to be. You can be scared, and you can just not want to go through the pain of actually taking accountability for the stuff that happens in your life. But you're also never going to get the results you want, and you have to accept that part.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
again, the people that don't
Um,
want to get therapy is like, not saying that therapy is the only answer, but you got to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, you got to. And it's not saying that it has to be a specific way. You have to. And this is another thing, I'm gonna try to be brief with it. But if you go to, because I've had more than one therapist in my life. Some did not work for me and some did. But I'm gonna say it like this: if you are going to therapy and it's extending for years, you're not in the right place. And the reason I say that is because I lived through it. I know what it is to be waiting for results, and you don't feel better, your life doesn't improve, and it's because that's not a match for you. That therapist is not helping you. That happens. You got to shop for you
um,
the therapist.
Yeah, that's true. I have a therapist I see, I think I see every 2 weeks. And I've seen her for about a year now, only remotely. And I'm like, okay, it feels like a good fit, but I'm like, all right, how do I know when I don't need her anymore, or what if I need to change to someone else? Like I genuinely like her. I'm very comfortable talking to her, but how do I know it's not time to move on? Maybe I'm too comfortable. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is new to me. I got her, around the pandemic time, so I'm filling it out. It's a good experience for me so far. I feel like I'm growing and learning with it, but it took a lot to get me there.
Yeah, yeah, it's going
yeah.
to be like, I don't think you'll ever ready to let go of therapy, but you got to sever those ties and try out in the
Mhm.
world how your life is and your life is supposed to improve. Like, you got to ask yourself some questions. Is my life better than the day that I walked into this office or I connected online with this therapist? Is my issue resolved? And you got to answer to yourself honestly. You can't lie to yourself because the problem is still there. So if the
Um,
problem is still there, then that therapist is not for you.
Right. Thank you, Denise.
excuse me. Actually, earlier this year, I actually did a stream and the topic was how to get find a quality therapist. The reason why I say quality, I don't use the term good or bad because those terms are too subjective. And actually, I had someone named Ting Delgado, which you, Denise, you know very well because you introduced me to him, and he gave a full explanation regarding what to look for to as far as trying to get a quality therapist.
That was very helpful. I think I have to go back and watch that stream because, again, I'm very comfortable with my therapist, but I don't know if that's a really, really good thing or if that's a really, really bad thing. But I saw that stream, like, okay, I'm really good with my therapist. I'm like, I don't think I need to watch that stream because I feel like I have a good relationship with my therapist. But maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe I shouldn't be too comfortable with her.
Okay. Let's see if Ramon has fixed the situation with his mic.
Can you guys hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
good
That's good.
evening, Ramon.
Good evening, guys. Thanks, KFIT, for letting me up on your panel.
Of course.
Yes, yes. Something that when it comes to what you just said about your therapist, try and keep in mind, try and keep in mind that not every therapist or counselor is necessarily going to tell you what you need to hear, because there are therapists or counselors that might coddle you a little bit and tell you what you want to hear, even it may not be what is best for you. So that's something that you need to keep in the back of your head. Unfortunately, that's kind of like in the times that we live in the society that we live in, that even professionals might do what is not uh, the right thing. They may not do what's the right thing for their clients or patients and so on. So that's something to keep in mind. Uh, but when it comes to the whole thing about adulting, yeah, some of the things that you were reading are kind of things that you need to that are things that should be told to kind of like the younger generations, the ones that are still a bit too comfortable living like a teenager, and maybe they're already in their 20s and they're not they're still kind of living in a bubble, and they're not living in the real world. They're not having to deal with real responsibilities. And okay, we have talked about before how there are millennials that have to deal with things like skyrocketing education debt when it comes to college debt, tuition, student loans, things. Okay, yes, and I feel for them. But there are also other millennials that maybe didn't have to deal with all of that, and that they have kind of like they're kind of living in a sense in a situation of somewhat of arrested development, where they're not really they're not really understanding what it means to be a real adult and dealing with the things that adults deal with. I mean, there was one of the points that you read about taking handouts. There are people, unfortunately, again, what we're living with right now, that there is too much of a sense of entitlement. People thinking that they other people should give them something. Of course, that somebody who is going to be into politics can start bringing up socialism and can start bringing up the Democrats, but it's not on it's not just them, because there is, in this country, there is welfare for the rich and socialism for the rich that allows them to become richer and richer, whatever. And that a tiny percentage of the population, where just about everybody else starves. Everybody else goes through real struggle. And so a little help is not necessarily socialism. It's not necessarily communism, because there are the political moralists that start bringing that up, and that's not even what we're talking about. Yes, there is somebody that can need some help, but when it comes to feeling entitled to have just things given to them, then that's something that one will have to think about as to where does that come from? I mean, where that sense of entitlement come from? Uh, but we do deal with that a lot, and I have read some crazy things about how in the younger generations, even when they are young adults and they should be out there and earning a living and things like that, but they still are so dependent on their parents to get some of things done, even in the in the most extreme of cases. I mean, if somebody is at a job and they want a raise and they show up there for a meeting for a raise with their parent, like I've read about crazy stuff like that. Like I have read,
Like
yes, yeah,
my dad said, I'm getting this money.
yeah, or their mom, a grown young man who's who's not very comfortable in the working situation. They show up to meet with their boss, with their mother, and the mother is the one that does the talking. Like what the hell? I have read about things like that. That's kind of like arrested development
That's
with
crazy.
arrested development with younger generation. Like what's going on? They're not being told at home when they're growing up that once they go out there, they're kind of like a little bit more on their own, and they have to fight their own battles on their own. They can be depending on their parents to do that for them, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, arrested development, it's crazy. That will never, that is unheard of my generation. As imperfect as it is, in my generation, Generation X, that's unheard of. That doesn't, that sure as hell didn't happen to me.
I want to get feedback from Denise and Jose about what you're saying.
Okay, well, first of all, when it comes to, we got to make a distinction between the millennials and the Gen Z people. I mean, basically, the millennials are those that were born between 1981 and 1994. So we got, first of all, we have to make a distinction because unfortunately, sometimes we get to confuse the one for the other. And unfortunately, some people, for whatever reason, um, they never got to the point when when they're able to, to do things for themselves without the support of mom and dad. What they don't understand is what they're going to do the day that mom and dad is no longer alive. They're going to be up the creek without a paddle. And I'm sure Denise will have a few words to say about those topics as well.
Denise.
I'm sorry, guys. I was doing something else. Um, can you repeat the question, KFIT?
Yeah, yeah. Well, go on, go on.
No, okay, you can have, yeah, you can tell her.
No, I mean it's just I was just talking about when some of the things that are happening with the younger generations, and there was one of the points that Kathy was talking about when it comes to
Mhm.
uh, feeling entitled to handouts, and how that also can translate into a sense of arrested development, and how is it that I have read on these situations when people that are part of younger generations, they go into early adulthood and they can't function properly to the point where there is a young person that is working at a job, and because of something that they don't like about the job, instead of taking it up themselves with management or of a direct supervisor or somebody of importance that could take to take matters into the situation, they will show up to the meeting with their parent, and then their
What?
parent is gonna be doing the talking for them. This is stuff that I have read about in the younger generations. That the
When you say younger generation, which age are you talking about? Because I don't
well,
get it. I've never seen this.
it could be between millennials and C, of course. I don't mean you, but I'm talking about these younger people that have been brought up in a bubble, and they cannot function on their own in the real world, in real life,
Mhm.
and sometimes they can't do certain things in real life that have to do with being an adult, and they need to have somebody else to help them with is sometimes their parents. And this is something that I have read about it. The younger people that because of a sense of entitlement, they think that shortly after starting a job, they feel like things should be easier for them, or they should get a raise right away. And but because they don't know how to do the negotiation, or they don't know how to talk about it, sometimes they'll show up with one of their parents, and the parents they show up to the meeting with the parent, and the parent is having to do the talking, and and me
That's
being
so
a
weird.
manager.
I've never. I wish I could see. I could see. Look, I'm gonna be very honest. My generation is a generation of snowflake, but there's levels, and I think the problem is that there's no distinction among millennials and Gen Z. There's not, because look, we struggle with. I've been in managerial positions in
Hmm,
many different areas, even here in the US, and my problem usually starts with people that are Gen Z's. Seniors are annoying to employ
hmm,
because if they have a party and you schedule them to come to work, they will choose the party, they'll quit, and you will have to cover for them.
hmm.
I
Oh,
never seen that on the millennial side. Maybe in the younger millennials, the ones that are like between 27 to 29, 30, maybe.
hmm,
But millennials around my age or a few years younger or older, like we don't go to that extent. Let's just say that. So I think the problem got worse. Now that doesn't mean we're not snowflakes in other areas, because my generation sucks in many other areas.
hmm,
We're hypersensitive. We've seen a lot of people in my generation that get offended and triggered by everything. you know there's certain concepts that are backwards that we're trying to push to fit the narrative of our bringing. And I love the fact when you brought up the fact that many of people in my generation, the millennial generation, were brought up in a bubble. That is true. That number grew exponentially
yeah,
to the point that right now, if you're not politically correct, people are going to attack you.
yeah, yeah.
And this is something that it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter where you stand on things. You're always going to have someone that's going to get offended. That's why I don't. And in that response also to um the mental illness, I've said this many times. When you start censoring yourself and not expressing what you, and I'm not saying be an asshole, let me correct myself. You don't have to be an asshole, but if you have a point of view, you should be free to express your point of view regardless of how people are going to feel, because you got to understand that it's either you get offended or they get offended. Either you implode or people are going to get offended, and it doesn't matter what you say in the world we live in, because we're unique people. Someone's going to get offended by the stuff we say, but that's not your responsibility, though. You get my point? So express yourself, because if you don't do that, you keep putting this stuff in and you're going to implode. And when you implode, that's when we see depression,
Yeah,
suicide, anxiety, mental illness. This is when this comes into the picture, because we're teaching people around you that you have to keep avoiding to annoy others, that you have to put others before you, when in the real world, if you put the world before you, you're gonna get shoot up. That's
yeah,
just how it is. The world is brutal. And I remember when my dad used to tell me, because I used to get bullied because I was the youngest kid in elementary school and I was the smallest one. So I used to get bullied by kids of middle school. When I was in kindergarten, my dad told me, you either be the bully or you're the bullied. It's up to you. He never
yeah,
stepped in to defend me. He never stepped in to go talk to the kids. Nothing. He literally told me, if you come home and somebody hit you and you didn't hit them back, I'm gonna hit you where they hit you. I thought my dad was mean for that, but now when I grew up, I understand that he was trying to teach me that the world functions like that. You either prey or you're a predator. You can't be both. And it sounds like it's rough, but that's life. So when you
Yeah.
accommodate other people all the time, you're chiseling out parts of yourself, and that's when you come home every day, you feel empty, you feel sad, you feel this desolation and this void, like the world is always cracking around you. But it's because of that. You're not comfortable with flexing who you are and being yourself because you're scared of people's reactions, and that's not a way to live. But that it's also the reason why many millennials and seniors today are so easily offended, because that's the way they are taught. It's like, oh, you have to be nice to others, so they expect everyone to be nice to them. That's not the way the world works.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually, you can see that. I mean, outside of social media, when we in our places of employment, in our neighborhoods and what have you, where we go to school, I mean, you see and encounter people that get offended very easily, no matter what you say. You can say in the most calming, most polite, most non-judgmental way, someone is going to get offended.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what
It's
that's what I
just
said. I'm like, you as long as you're not an asshole, say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. Screw everyone
Hmm.
else. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying to anyone just be an asshole and offend people out here on purpose. But if what you're saying, because you gotta see it like this, you could you could look for the this is for the Christians. Wasn't Jesus Christ the most polite, politically correct, sweet man in the world?
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
No,
Okay,
but
let me put
wasn't
it.
but
Okay,
wasn't but wasn't Jesus Christ the best human being in the world?
okay, yes.
the collective will say that he was, but not necessarily if you actually look closely
If you
into
if
what
you
he
look
said,
at
because there
him,
were.
but if you think
Okay. Oh,
about it, even though he was always doing good, Jesus wasn't out here sinning. He wasn't being an asshole. He wasn't killing people. He wasn't stealing from anyone. He was a great human being. That's why he's the example and the epitome for the Christians to emulate. But even
mhm.
Jesus upset people to the point that they killed him. Did he not?
That is true. And as the
So
only, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so at the end of the day, if Jesus got killed, even though he was the perfect example of how a human is supposed to conduct himself, why are you scared of just being who you are? People are gonna hate you nonetheless. We have to let go of this need to be liked. That
Yeah.
is a problem. That is a disease, and I see it in my generation a lot. We need to get rid of that need. You're going to be liked by whoever likes you. Whoever doesn't like you, it's all right. They're gonna be liked by other people. And
Hmm.
I think when you act that way, and that's it's something that you will people will figure out. When you move that way, you become more likable to people because people know who you really are. And that's more relatable than a fake you that's hating the world and getting upset on the inside and wants to snap someone's neck, but is on the outside saying, I will understand what you're saying, and let's agree to disagree. You're saying that on the outside, but on the inside, you're stabbing that person, like the American Psycho movie. That was
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
social critic. You get my point? You can't push yourself, you got to love yourself a little bit more, to the point that you tell people the truth, even if it's with love, but you got to tell the truth and your true feelings.
I just want to shout out to the 18 Better. Thank you for joining us on the panel. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, KFIT, and shout out to my peoples, my sister niece, my boy introvert Boricua, and my YouTube dad Jose Negron. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up,
Hey,
Rakim?
Rakim, what's going on?
I
Uh,
also wanted to mention MK in the
well,
chat. He says, "I think Z's are easily offended than millennials. We're offended, just not as touchy as them."
Yeah, that's true. That is seniors, and I think that that distinction, like I said before, it's not being made at all. But seniors are a disease at their generation should be called mental illness Z, because they are pushing this to
Uh,
the level of insanity. It's like there was a term that Dr. Malone said like a while ago. He said it was what is it? Mass psychosis, mass onset psychosis, when a group of people is pushed to the level of being scared of something so much that they all think the same without reasoning it. That's seniors. That's the way, at least it's the way us millennials are starting to see them, and we don't like that. It's so
Okay,
weird.
you know what sounds that sounds like the these women that are into the whole intersectionality thing, that they're always pushing this victimization, like women at all times are being made victims, at all times are in danger, at all times a man is gonna harm them, at all times
Ah,
they're
Jose,
about
I
to
know
be
you wanted to
assaulted,
say
or they're
something.
and it's like it goes all the way back to, if you were born, they say things like that, the intersectionality peddlers, the victimization peddlers will tell you that if you, when you were born, and if you were delivered by a male doctor, you were molested, so you were a
what?
victim, you were already a victim. That's the whole intersectionality thing. It's a
what?
You
culture.
got to be kidding me,
it's
Ramon.
a it's a culture of constant victimization. So if some way, if somebody that pushes intersectionality could be pushing what you just described, the whole psychosis thing, kind of like pushing into women's minds that they are a victim or a potential victim at all times. So you push
Mm.
that into somebody's mind, they're gonna feel like they're gonna be scared all the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's kind of like what we saw with the whole get your vaccine, get your vaccine, get your vaccine. That was an example of
mhm.
mass psychosis, if you think about it, because these people were not thinking, oh hey, people are going to become vaccine injured, some people are going to die from this vaccine, some people are going to have brain issues or menstrual issues like we're discovering now. Some women are going to lose their fertility, some women are going to gain fertility, some
Yeah,
men are going to have paralysis, some young men are going to have heart disease. They weren't thinking about none of this.
yeah,
They
the
just wanted you
the
to
secondary
be
effects.
vaccinated out of their own fear.
Hmm.
That's mass, that's psychosis and mass, because they were scared for so long that this is what they presented with, so they're manipulated this way. And that
Yeah.
is something that Gen Z hasn't come, that's who they are. It's so weird, it's super weird, I swear.
Jose,
Yeah.
you wanted to say something?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, when Ramon was speaking, I said to him that when you're speaking about the younger generation, you do have to make a distinction between the Generation Z people and the millennial people. Unfortunately, what happened is they both get confused with being the same group, and they're not. I mean,
No, I get they're not the same
Denise,
group, but when it comes to the things that trigger them and offend them, it gets very blurred. I mean, because they
Yeah,
can they
because
can
we
get,
we do the same thing. Look at how,
yeah,
look, for example, if Ramon was here with a millennial snowflake having this conversation, they will get offended because Ramon said that, and those people exist in my generation, that they will
yeah.
be reactive to what Ramon said because they just got offended. You
Yeah,
get
yeah,
my
they need
point?
to be offended about something, about whatever, and that shows that these are the young people that were living in the grew up in the bubble that was I was mentioning earlier, so they're not used to dealing with the real world like that, and they were sheltered and they were coddled and they were they were handled with kid gloves. I can remember that time back on the island, on our beloved island, when I was in elementary school. If you got unruly, a teacher could actually smack you over the head, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't get in trouble. That's
Nope.
that's how we got it. That's how we got it.
I got it the same way. My dad and my mom. Oh my god, there was a time when they would give your teacher a yard,
Hmm.
and your teacher could hit you with that.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't see, and a lot of people would think that's abuse. But to be honest, that's an adult in charge of 20 something plus kids for
Hmm.
8 freaking hours.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And some of us were no angels. I was a menace. I was an omen as a child. So trust me, I got whooped a lot in school. A lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But I saw that
I
happening
what
a lot in the
Yeah, I
smackings.
wanted to speak on something. I wanted to speak on what you were saying earlier. See, the thing is, the difference in today on how we grew up is that now it's cancel culture. Nobody really have a conversation to listen. People just have a conversation to rebuttal about how they feel, and that is a big issue. As far as what's going on now is that people, are checking for power, and a lot of people know that they have a lot of misinformation, and they know that when it comes down to it, their argument don't hold up. That's why cancel culture is implemented, because cancel culture is to prevent you from saying, anything with any type of factual information to back up your opinion. And, if so, then you'll be canceled because we're the ones that control Hollywood, or we're the ones that control the celebrities that's putting money in people's pockets. That's the age we're in right now, especially with the internet and social media. See, back then, none of this existed. It was more, hard nosed interactions with people, where you had to go outside, and just like Ramon, I remember you was telling me how you grew up over on the island. We know parts of the island is rough, just like here in the states. I can
Hmm.
remember growing up. Um, I had to learn how to roast people back when it came to school, because I was a little bummy kid. I didn't really have the best clothes or anything like that, and other
Yeah.
kids in school would talk about me. So I had to learn how to roast people back, because you know today, now when kids talk about other kids, which I'm not saying is right, but a lot of kids don't know how to get aggressive back. They their feelings get hurt, and
Hmm.
they just they shut down. Even
That was
growing up,
me, always in my feelings.
that was
Ah.
yeah, well,
I never had to come back until the next day.
yeah. Well, you know what's crazy, K-Fit, because I'm really just speaking from a man's perspective. I couldn't really say with girls, but I know as a boy as well, I had to. If it was an incident where I was afraid to fight, I remember being bullied as a kid, and being and running home, and my mother would tell me I would have to go out and fight, and my
Yeah.
uncles would do the same thing. And one of my uncles' line was, "Well, either you're gonna kick his ass, or I'm gonna kick your ass. Which one?" And
Exactly.
I had to go out, and even though I was afraid, I had to go out and fight, because you're a kid, you don't know how to deal with confrontation or bullies and everything like that.
Yeah,
And
it's scary. It's
But
scary at that
question,
age.
so how much of that goes to your children as far as fighting? How much of the meat and potatoes of that experience goes into your parenting talk with your children if you have kids about defending yourself?
oh, the same way that I was raised, as far as that particular element. I wasn't raised the best, but that's something that I hold dear. And even now, I had gotten my nephew into boxing, because I want him to be able to defend himself. I've actually taken him to the range with me, and I've started him off with firing a 22 caliber, because I don't want him to be afraid of firearms as he get older, or fall for the propaganda that guns are evil, because it's going to get a certain time where if he's pretty good, he knows the basics and everything of boxing. It's going to get to a time where it's no longer going to be about fighting, especially hopefully I'll be able to get him away from that as much as I possibly can, but it's going to get to a point where guns are going to get drawn at a certain age. So I don't want him to be afraid or be put in a situation where he can possibly be another statistic. So I'm trying to prepare him in each and every way, and I will be doing the same with my sons as well.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that information. I want to know from the rest of the panel as well. What are your views and opinions, and how do you feel about what he said as far as your perspectives on it?
I agree. And one thing that it's interesting that Rakim said that, because one thing that we've learned and seen from other people is that they often raise their kids and say that I'm gonna give my kid what I didn't have. I'm gonna be a parent that does these sweet things for my kid, not like my parents were with me. And we have to exercise discernment. There are things that our parents did that suck, but the good parts, why are you going to discard them? Like there's no point. Like, for example, I was raised with a very authoritarian father. There are things that I can see that are not necessarily the best because they destroy confidence. you know those things I got to replace with other things. But the parts when my dad held me responsible for things at a very young age and let me do things on my own and realize that life is not sunshines and rainbows, no, I'm not going to replace that. I want my kids to be, out here melted under pressure. And I think that is a tandem effect in adulting that we need to implement. It's not only just about you anymore, it's about what you're going to do with the future as well. Fix yourself while you're fixing the next generation. So the problem it's solved completely.
Yeah. Because one of the problems we're having today is we having hurt people raise other people to become more hurt people. I mean, um, you have people who have unresolved issues that they never, thought about getting a therapist. So what they do is when they have children, they bring their trauma to them, and then what happens is the children becomes adults, and next thing you know, they're repeating the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes that their parents made. So the fact of the matter is, we many of us need to be honest and recognize that we have trauma and we need to get therapy, because if we fail to do so, the cycle is just going to continue and continue.
Well, when it comes to the parenting, unfortunately, we all carry a lot of what we learned from our parents, whether it was good or not so good, even with the when it comes to the mistakes or the parts of the upbringing that wasn't the best. As much as one tried to do better than one's own parents, most likely there is a great chance that there is always that is going to be passed along that we got from our parents. I'm not a parent myself, but I can imagine how I will handle the upbringing of a kid for me. And I always think about how I was raised, and that's really all I know. So I figure that there is always something about my upbringing that I'm gonna be passing along, but it's usually gonna be when it comes to be stern about certain things and being uncompromising about certain things, not being uh, understanding that it is a cold world out there, not overly coddle. I mean, being strict about certain things, not always giving the kid whatever they want, especially if they haven't earned it. That will be that's how I was raised. I wasn't raised with much. I wasn't giving everything. I was giving some things, but I wasn't giving everything that I ever wanted. I mean, there were certain things that I wanted as a kid. If I asked for it more than two times, I will get yelled at. So that's what I know. That's what I know. And if I were to become a parent, it's gonna be somewhat like that. But the problem is that we're living in a society where you cannot be stern with your own kids because there is this whole BS notion of what they call soft parenting, in which you have to it is almost mandated by the government that you coddle your kids. I mean, that's not parenting. having to do the soft thing, what they call, if it is what it sounds like, that is a bad thing, because soft parenting means that the kids are gonna be able to get away with whatever, and they're not gonna be held accountable for it, because then that could be called abuse. Then it is encouraged that the kids rat on their parents to some authority and bring the government into the situation. And I'm against that. I don't believe in that. If I were, because of the way that I was brought up, if I were to deal with a kid that was somewhat unruly, and I had to do a little bit of corporal punishment on the kid to get it to quiet down and to get some discipline, actually discipline them. I mean, not in a way that is going to hurt them really or anything, but to cause them a little bit of pain, just as a reminder that if they misbehave, if they don't do what they're told, if they become unruly, disrespectful, that there is going to be a consequence. Unfortunately, the way that the parents that parents are supposed to be raising their kids is when they do the soft parenting thing, that is only going to let them know that they can do whatever the hell they want without consequence. I could never be a parent if that's the way it's going to be. I
And
couldn't
I
do
just
it.
wanted to add on to what my boy Ramon was saying. It's just a reminder with discipline, I'm not your friend. I'm your father. We're
Yep.
not friends here.
A lot of
Eh,
people want to be their kids' friends.
Yeah, many
yeah, you
mothers.
can. You
A
Yeah.
yes,
lot.
yes,
Yes, especially
yes.
the mothers. You're absolutely right. That's what I said. It all starts with us. I said it on the last one briefly, but it all starts with us women. We need to, because I've seen a lot. And one of the things I've seen is we have mostly the mom is the one that spends more time with the children, and the mom tends to, like, trash the dad in front of the kids. That's one of the most detrimental things for children to experience. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like the extremes that we see when it's like, you call the dad a deadbeat. But for example, there's a lot of kids like my dad. For example, my dad worked close to 80 to 100 hours per week. My dad worked a lot because he had his own business, and you guys know that's not an easy task.
Mhm.
So, he couldn't afford to be at home as much as he would love to. And, for the most part, my mom never told me like, oh, like he's out there living his best life, and I'm here stuck with y'all. Like, she never had that. And that, my mom had made many mistakes bringing us up, but that was something that she never did. She always made it understand that my dad was out there sacrificing the time with us so that we could have a good life. And like I said, there's many ladies that we're seeing today that do that to the kid, so the kid
Mhm.
grows to resent the father and becomes this pseudo husband, or this crazy masculine woman that eventually has to take certain responsibilities for the poor mom that was abandoned by the horrible father, when in reality that father was sacrificing everything he had so that the family could be stable. So all of this bratty behavior is because of what we passed down, is what we're doing, how we're destroying the children and the future. It's in our hands. So definitely all this problem starts with us, because we influence the next generation. We just don't carry them, we carry them and influence them.
Mhm.
I agree 100%. And just like I was saying earlier with my nephew, I'm going to be teaching him, of course, responsible gun ownership. And I've already explained to him how firearms are not a toy, and they're not meant to
Yeah.
be used unless your life is in danger. And just like teaching, the younger you start with children, the absolute better, because the younger you are, your mind soaks up information like a sponge. I hate to say it, but when some people get a certain age, a lot of us are stuck in our ways. A lot of us, don't want to improve our mindset and improve the way that we think on certain you know, subjects or, learn the most. And that's one thing that I picked up from my grandmother. And I'm so happy that she raised me right, because my grandmother taught me the history of a lot of things. She taught me about, you know, God rest her soul, but she wanted me to travel. Like I said before, one of the places that she wanted me to go, she wanted to take me to the island of PR, because she stayed out there for about almost a year. So she wanted me to go to various other places, because she was
Mhm.
real big on learning the history of different places and traveling there, and just, asking questions about things. Like me, I did a lot of self evaluation growing up. I would ask myself certain things, and why is this way, and why is it that way, or what did I do, or and if I used to have a habit of constantly, going over different mistakes that I made and different things like that, because I was always hard on myself growing up. So if it's any mistakes that I made or anything that I wish I can reverse and do over, I would really give myself a break. I was really my biggest critic on a lot of things. And some people don't evaluate at all. Some people don't have any type of self evaluation at all. And it's really crazy as well how you can't really, even if a person disagree, and we can be talking about a lot of things, whether it be race, economics, politics, you just have too many people that are overly sensitive, where you can't really have a conversation with certain people where you able to voice your opinion. And like Denise said, a person can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree on certain things.
Yeah.
We like too many people are flying off the handle into their feelings, and it doesn't call for any type of honest conversations on anything these days. Because of the cancel culture and because of the way things are put in place now, it leads for people to damn near want to take you out over an argument, or over a debate.
And the problem, and one big problem with that is that what you just described is happening with a lot of men, because to a degree you can expect that with women, because women are naturally tend to be more emotional, but younger men, a lot of emotionalism is happening with them, because they're not being raised any better than that when it comes to uh, understanding masculine energy and harnessing in a way to boost their own confidence. And they are being raised by a lot of women around them, so they grow up kind of like having a lot of feminine energy. Not necessarily that they grow up to be gay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that the many young men are growing up to be female like, when it comes to the way they express themselves, the way they carry themselves, the way they react to situations. It can be very women like, very feminine like. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing to be emotional, because there has to be balance. There has to be balance when there are in relationships of the masculine and the feminine. There has to be balance with that. And when you get to people that are emotional, even though it is a man and a woman, but both are emotional, there is an imbalance there. So you're not. It's not gonna end well. It's not gonna work well.
Well, that's the reason why, like, for example, Denise has a term referring to those people as slow tips. My term is the mentally and intellectually challenged, because the fact of the matter is, we have seen how individuals, they get very emotional, especially when they cannot um, argue a point with logic, with facts, with data. And in fact, we actually saw a very good example of that on one stream earlier this week on another platform.
Yeah.
And also, I just wanted to clarify something my boy Ramon just said. And if you notice with a lot of, because just like, arguing with certain women. There's a lot of women that can carry themselves like ladies
Mhm.
with class and everything, but you can tell because arguing with certain women, you'll have women that don't like what you say. It can make the most sense, but the fact that they don't like what you say will give them reasons to try to put their hands on you. And that's
Mhm.
what you see with a lot of these young boys. But one thing a lot of these young boys don't understand is that a man is not going to exercise the same restraint with another man that he does with women. And
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
have some of these young boys that are raised in these households under women where when they don't like what they say, now you think you're going to raise your hand against me, or you think you're going to do something to me that can lead into a real bad situation for the both of us. And that's when you get a lot of the violence and different things like that. And just to take account to what just transpired with the young man, because I know you out of you out of New York, KFIT, with the young man over in Bed Stuy, Brooklyn, that
Yeah, the
just
McDonald's situation.
yeah, that just lost his life over a situation over French fries. Now we've all gone into fast
Mhm.
food places where it's a lot of people because you got these young kids that's I guess they're not making much money, so they got the worst attitudes, especially in the
Mhm.
inner city, and they can disrespect you, and it will piss you off because I'm paying for my food, and you're gonna have the nerve to disrespect me, and that's what I say. Both sides were wrong because they tried to take it as a joke and give that lady the same French fries with a few fries at the top that were cooked. And then when she confronted them, they disrespected that woman. But that woman also knew the type of person that her son was which was why she called him to be an attack dog on these
I'll be
kids.
right
And
back,
and
guys.
it's
Mhm.
and it just go to
Okay.
show both sides was wrong because he thought it was a joke and he wanted to get disrespectful. They took that disrespect very personal, and he wanted to do something about it. And the biggest mistake that that young man made was when he asked that lady where was her son. If he's so tough, where's your son? And when he went outside, and he made a grave mistake by doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Honestly speaking, I haven't even heard the whole story. It's been on the news a lot. I jumped in Marina's video last night. I think Marina had a video, and I jumped in. I heard them talking a lot about it, but I was so late in the stream. Like it was just like I was like trying to catch up to everything. But it like a really interesting conversation. But it's so unfortunate because it wasn't necessary, and it's like these crimes are so senseless. It's like, why did it have to elevate to that? Why did they have to be so petty in the restaurant? Like, why? We're never gonna get these answers.
And it's just people getting into their emotions and their feelings and not being able to conduct themselves like adults. Because at the worst, what the lady could have did was just curse them out back, and I'm never coming to this McDonald's again. Instead of just simply putting your son into a situation now. And I was thinking because at one point the boy was in critical. I was following the story, and I was thinking as he's sitting up in that cell, I know that those guards are telling him, "You better pray that that boy don't pass, because if he does, you're looking at first degree murder charges." And now he's looking at first degree. You know, I meant to say I should have said deletion, but I'll just say first degree deletion charges now. And he may be able to argue it down to manslaughter because of the fact that that kid came outside of the doors to confront him, but it's not looking good, especially having a legal firearm and discharging a firearm in within the realms of public safety in New York. So that's two charges that's going to get you some years right there, right along with the manslaughter charge. So it's not looking good. And just we spoke about the situation with Mr. Jose Alba and that man that on what he did, all because of the woman put the battery in his back and used him as an attack dog after she lied and said Mr. Alba disrespected her. And it ended up turning to something that it wasn't. But if that man was any man's grandfather, most men that I know that I grew up with, if they would have saw that that man was doing what he did to Mr. Alba, people would have had guns going to go look for him for doing that. And that's another incident, him not knowing what's going on. And this his woman outright lying about the situation put him in a situation where he ended up losing his life over a $3 bag of chips, and all based
And,
off of emotion, not
and,
not
and,
people.
and you know what's the crazy part is this female is not facing any charges, which is the crazy part. Because of this female stupidity, a young person died, and a young person, actually, took actions which led to his death. And Jose Alba was performing self-defense. And the fact of the matter is, he should never have been charged in the first place. Unfortunately, those are the crazy circumstances that you know that we saw.
Yeah, yeah. And like you were saying, that's the part that I find curious. That she got away with slicing Alba, and no charges on her. I mean, she instigated the whole situation where somebody died. No charges on her. She wasn't accused of anything. Not even arrested, from what I understand. Like, okay. Let me not say anything else, because it's like, okay, so she was protected. Let's say she was being very protected.
I want to just read a couple comments I see in the chat. I see MK say Z's are obsessed with trauma and drama. He said that at 9:08. Susan Satin said at Introvert Barika, this is why Gen Zs are some millennials are so soft. Soft parenting. Society has told them if we hurt their feelings in any way, or God forbid, put our hands on them, it's abuse. And then Ramon, you said back to her, Susan Satin, that's why I'm not becoming a parent. The way I was raised would be seen as unacceptable today.
Yeah, you can highlight it. You can put the cursor and highlight it on screen. Yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, no, I mean it. Given today's society's standard, I may not be fit to be a parent. Because I could only raise a kid the way I was raised, and when I was raised, I wasn't coddled. I mean, I got my ass kicked on occasion, even though I was a
Yeah,
quiet kid for the most part. But still, I wasn't given that much leeway. If I messed up, I messed up, and I will pay the consequence.
but you know what's the crazy part? Months ago, they were having discussions regarding how you define what a woman's like, which is like, are you serious? We seriously have
Define
a
what a woman
discussion.
is like. Is what?
Look, define what is a woman like.
When it comes to
Um,
what?
okay, well, a
He's talking
definition.
about that documentary, Ramon. That What Is a Woman documentary.
What is a woman? Oh, okay, yeah, but that's called what is a woman, period. What is a woman? No, it's just that you say what is a woman like, but that's
Okay,
when
well, you
I
know
have
what?
to kind of like ask a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that was my mistake. But the fact of the matter is, there was a considerable amount of discussion regarding the doctor and this guy who, what is a woman, and actually, that last lady that became confirmed in the Supreme Court, she was asked, "Can you define what is a woman?" And she says no, and she's a woman herself.
Well, that's because she doesn't want to give the factual based answer to the question, because there are gonna be certain people in certain community that are a minority that will have a problem with an answer that is based on what the fact is, on a factually based answer to that question. Unfortunately, I'm sure that by now on the dictionary, on the Webster's dictionary, if you look up the word woman, they might have edited the definition of it. They might have added some things that makes it more convoluted and more confusing, because they are trying to appease the rainbow group that have amassed enough power to change things from being based on fact to being based on feelings, and this is all based on feelings. I mean, they're exercising power based on feelings, and that's dangerous.
They're gonna
Uh,
change the woman into different ways of spelling woman with the parentheses and the pronouns in front of them. Like change the E backwards, change the N upside down or something. Like I can see it
yeah,
coming.
yeah. I mean, and the thing is that that's only that's what confused folks say. I'm not even talking about a personal lifestyle, whatever they do behind closed doors. That's their business, but they want to bring out their confusion, and they want to make a confusion out of everybody else's life. No, no, I'm against that.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I mean, just call me by my name, and I'm a he, him, hetero. That's it. I don't want
You
to.
want to hear? Okay. You want to hear something crazy? Because I know a person that sits like nearby, and he interviews people, and he actually asked them, okay, which pronouns want me to use? He, her, he, she, he, them, and it's like you
Mhm,
asking what pronouns they want to use.
mhm.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't ask the
me,
question. I
I
wouldn't ask the
remember.
question. It's just a him or her, he,
Or
her. That's it. Mhm.
him, her, she, him, and it's like, oh boy.
You know what basic grammar says, or what basic grammar. That's just basic grammar. Just go by basic grammar.
I remember not
That's
even knowing what it was, and then when I found out what it was, I was like, okay, so what is the difference between Miss, Mister, Mrs.? I'm like, what's the difference? Like, why are we putting so much emphasis on it right now? For what reason?
Because you know why? Because of the alphabet community.
hmm yeah, the rainbows. But I don't know. I don't know. I can only guess that it might have um some legal repercussion because there is English and there is legal English. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna make some type of influence in the way things are communicated in legal terms in a court of law, and I just don't know if that's gonna have something to do with it. But yeah, they're confusing the hell out of the whole thing with the pronoun game that they're trying to play. I won't be part of it. Fortunately, because of where I'm at in the country, I mean, I'm in the South, so I don't really have to deal with pronoun games. No, even though I have gone to this facility to have myself tested, because every once in a while I do have myself tested for what they call STIs and HIV, clean, but it's a place where you get to the facility, you see a big rainbow painting outside of the building. So of course, when it comes to the staff, the people that work in the place, you can tell that they have certain lifestyles, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm just going there to get myself checked out, and they're nice, and they don't try to force anything on me or whatever. But yeah, in the forms that you fill out for that, there might be something. They might ask you something as to how do you identify yourselves or something, this and that and the third. And I just say he, Mister.
Well,
I just say
well,
that because that's all there is to it.
well,
Keep it straightforward.
okay.
hmm
Well, the funny thing is, the the policy is this: if someone asks me to go to the bathroom, okay, I gotta tell him, okay, the men's room is over there, the ladies' room is over there, and the gender neutral bathroom is over there.
Ugh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And we actually have those type of bathrooms on my on our floor. We have a ladies' room, we have a men's room, and we have a gender neutral room.
Hey, a quick question
Not at
for
my job.
uh, yeah, quick question for MK. What does that mean? MX. What does that mean?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know anything about that.
neither do I.
So yeah, when you have a chance, MK, if you can tell us what that means. But yeah, yeah, that's thankfully again, I'm not dealing with none of that. outside of the situation when it
Well,
comes to the testing facility, outside of that, I've never had to deal with kind of like asking me if I have to use more than two, having to choose between more than two options when it comes to gender.
Right. I remember I tried to
well,
make my pronoun queen. It said that's not acceptable. I'm like, oh, so I can't write what I want. I'm like, so what are the appropriate things I can write? And it would only accept he, her, she, them. I'm like, well, I already everyone know I'm a girl. They can look at me. I people know these are my biological children. Like I'm not fooling anyone. Like so why I can't pick what I want? I'm like, everyone for the most
But
part
see,
knows when they see someone what
okay,
they are.
okay,
but see the
okay.
way that the game is being played now, KFIT is we don't know if you're a girl. How do you identify as?
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
That's the
I
yeah.
way
mean,
that
I mean,
that's
I
the
mean,
way the
I
If
mean,
game is
no,
y'all
I
played.
mean,
see
I mean, no,
me,
no offense, K-Fit, and I know you, but people can somehow confuse you as being male, or someone can confuse you as a transgender in the process of transitioning into another section. I mean, that's the type of society that we live in. Remember, our governor has declared a state of emergency regarding monkeypox, even though no one has died in New York State about it yet.
listen,
Yeah,
I
so
got stretch
somebody,
marks from birth of my pregnancies. I'm a real girl. For everybody who looking out there, I'm a girl.
yeah, somebody could assume. No offense, but somebody could assume that you are. Oh, she could be a dude with a BBL or something like that. I mean, there are people that make
I
assumptions
wish
like
I
that.
could get a fucking BBL. Fuck out of here. What? I get this little kangaroo pouch snatch. What? I get some D's, some D cups. What? God ain't gonna let me get a BBL. She gonna get crazy.
Oh man,
Nah,
that
nah.
was comedy. That was comedy.
Um,
Yeah,
but speaking
but
about
there are people
speaking
that make
about that,
assumptions. That's all.
speak
Yeah, go on.
well. Speaking about that, I put a couple videos on my Instagram regarding uh, Brittany Griner, and it's one
Oh,
she's behind bars with the Russian anthem being played.
yeah, yeah.
They gave her
Well,
8 or 9 years, right?
yeah,
Yes.
she got something for 9 years. I don't think she's gonna be there that long. She
Me
won't.
neither.
She won't. Something is gonna be worked out between the governments. I don't think necessarily that is gonna be the exchange that everybody's talking about. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I don't think Griner is gonna be there for 9 years. I find that
Wow.
very unlikely.
I just hope
Well,
they don't touch her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, but it is Russia, so we don't know. But another thing too, I had the opportunity to watch another stream. Um, you know, I'm talking about Ramon Dennis Sperling, and he was saying that apparently that is on their books, on their legal books, to be able to charge somebody for that amount of time on any type of substance.
Hmm.
And yeah, so like it's in the realm that you can legally do that in Russia, and I think a lot of people are applying our American mind state to there and
Hmm.
thinking, oh, that's too much, but in reality, that's legally what they charge people for in Russia, and if it's an incident, either one or two things happen. Either she had been sneaking it in there and nobody said anything prior,
Yeah.
or she really forgot. it's only one of those two things that could have had transpired. Either or, that was a mistake that you cannot afford to make when you're traveling into countries that are dictatorships or former dictatorship countries. It's no joke in any of these countries, as far as because in their prison system is for hardened criminals and people that really break the law. Here, prison is a business, but
Yeah.
like you,
Well,
she may not be there, but it's a strong possibility that she still may be there for some years to come. But
Mhm.
it's no telling at this particular point. But I highly doubt that they're going to give up an arms dealer. But Biden may work something out because he's trying to appease the alphabet community, which is the base of the Democratic Party at this particular point.
Mhm.
my
Yeah,
She better
that'll be
okay,
tell
but my
her to
concerning.
bust her
okay,
out.
but okay, okay, but my thinking is that this is my thinking. As far as she's concerned, a she's gonna have to learn how to speak Russian, and she has to have to learn how to speak Borscht and до свидания.
Worry
Well.
about her booty, her cheeks. She got mad stuff to worry about right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. She
She got
has.
mad stuff to worry about right now.
Yeah, well,
For
she's gonna have
real.
the pick. She's gonna have her pick as to who she's gonna be hooking up with. I mean, her wife is gonna be mad. I mean, because she does have a
Yeah,
significant other, but
she might
oh
have a
well.
prison bay. She might have Svetlana or Tatiana or somebody.
Yeah,
But
Oh, nigga doing
Svetlana,
push-ups, working
yeah,
out for real.
Svetlana, Tatiana,
You niggas be pushing
Natalia,
people.
Odessa.
And yes, and yes, and
That's
it will
my
be push,
thing.
push in the bush.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah. She's
she's
gonna
a
have to do a
big
lot of
girl.
movement.
I'm 5'10". What is she like? 6'4"?
No,
She's
she's
I'm
she,
five.
way
I think she's
she's way
almost 6 feet,
taller than
6 feet
yeah.
tall. Almost 6 feet, I think. Yeah, but because
No,
she used to play
she
basket, she
she's
plays
much
basketball.
taller than 6 feet. She's like 6 feet 5 or
Yeah, she
six
like
feet
six
six
and
or
some
something.
inches.
She's way taller
Oh,
than any of us.
no, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
she's
Or,
I'm
well,
6'1" and she's towering over me. So, but also
well,
we got to
If y'all
remember
was
what it
married, would y'all bust y'all spouse out of jail?
I'm back.
it
What happened? What
oh
are we
man
talking about?
it depends.
If
Talking
you was
about
we're
the
married,
talking
would you
Brittany
about
bust your
Griner
spouse out of
situation.
jail if they was in jail?
If I would what?
If you was married and your
Uh-huh.
spouse was in jail, would you try to bust your spouse out of jail?
Hell no.
Don't let Justin hear that.
No, I wouldn't do. I
no.
will wait for him. I mean, it depends. If he kills someone, I'm out the picture.
We talking about Brittany Griner doing 8 or 9 years in Russia, so I was like, her wife should get her busted out of jail. Fuck that.
Yeah, I
Mm,
mean, I've said many times, if she breaks out of prison and makes it to Poland, we can give her a lift. But she can do a Midnight Express. Do you guys have watched that movie?
Yeah, I watch it. Okay, this is
She
my
can do
feeling.
that. She can do
I'm
that.
telling you,
Okay,
it's a plan. It could work.
Yeah, I can.
okay, but this is
Somebody
my
needs to
thing.
bust her out. It could work.
Okay, this is my thing. What she needs to do is a learn Russian and just simply learn how
Clench her
to eat
cheeks and her
borscht.
legs the whole time she's
Eat borscht
there.
and as far as I'm concerned, до свидания, goodbye.
yeah. Well.
Because
Yo,
I have no
Again, no.
I would be so
Well,
upset with
she.
Joe Biden if I was her. Like, really, nigga, you gonna just let them have me? Like, really, you ain't gonna say no truths to me, nigga?
Joe
I
yeah,
would be
but
Biden is
so
probably
come on, let's keep it
I would be putting all
1,000.
my eggs if I was her. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I would.
okay, okay. First of all, this is not the first time that she got into trouble. Okay, is this time
Which
she
trouble? Real trouble or little trouble?
I don't care what little trouble, big trouble. This is not her first time that she had this issue with the law. But the fact of the matter is, You go into another country and you're bringing in a substance that you know is not permissible, and then you get caught, and then you confess that you actually did it. Okay, no, okay, 9 years. Okay, 9 years is excessive. Okay, but what about all the thousands of people who are currently in prison for similar for a little weed or a little whatever? Okay, if they're gonna let her go, then they need to let all the other people go. Let her rot in jail. Let her know how to speak Russian, and let her learn how to eat borscht.
Now, what if that was your relative?
I
I
would
mean,
feel the
but
same way.
you gotta see Brittany Griner's spouse. Like Jose mentioned before, this woman has been charged with domestic violence things. I think this was her wife. I think this did her wife packed her bags
Dark
and
skinned
she's
girl.
like, yeah, she beat
I
up
saw.
her former partner.
Oh, she
I'm
be
like,
hitting people. She got hand problems.
yeah, she does. And her partner responded. They were both charged. And in a mysterious way, they were uncharged. It was so weird. So, in my opinion, I'm like, let her experience something because no one in this country has that privilege. Legit, no one has. Like, if I put my hands on MK, like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have literally braids and a prison tattoo in less than a day. You know,
You pretty. We're
so
gonna get you.
ah, yeah, they're gonna get me.
We're gonna
No,
get you like,
you have to
ooh.
get cornrows, not
You're
braids.
gonna like, ooh,
Braids is
all that
too.
hair. Like, ooh, you Mars girl.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna try and claim you for herself. I mean,
You see, and that's gonna happen pretty quick. I wouldn't be like
Okay.
out here enjoying freedom. And my thing is, in all honesty, I think, what if she was beating her wife and her wife said, "Let me just get rid of her. Let me just put this in her suitcase,"
Wow.
and because probably she doesn't fight. Just like, let me just put this in her suitcase, and when she stop over there, voila.
That would
You know
be
what? That's
so
what
Um,
bogus.
anti-spouses
That would be
do.
so bogus.
Yeah,
But I
Yeah.
spouses. Those bitter spouses
guys,
do stuff like that.
this is the song that she's gonna have to learn how to sing.
well,
and just to clarify on what you were saying, KFIT, um, just to
yeah. Go on,
yeah,
Rakim. That's the Soviet anthem, the Russian anthem.
just to clarify on what you were saying, KFIT. Um, another thing as well is that the fact that like Biden, he's probably like she's like, you gonna leave me over here, Biden? Like, who is Brittany Griner? I don't even know who I am. What's my name? I'm the president.
Yeah,
But can like
Like,
she get visitors? Like, can her wife go visit her in Russia? Is like that a thing in jail?
I
Like, how
wouldn't
does that
I
work?
wouldn't want to step foot in Russia. I would
If
not
your
want
wife was in a Russian jail, you wouldn't go visit her.
not right now. Not right now.
You can't leave your baby in jail in another
No,
country.
but honey, I mean,
Uh,
I can't.
Yeah, honey.
It's not like we can do a lot. So to be honest, I will send a letter every day. How about that?
look,
Tito.
I love. Look, guys, you know how much I love Clara, but I wouldn't even go to Russia for her.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. And now I'm sorry. I don't look. There's a policy in my family. We don't visit people in prison. We
Mhm.
don't do the jail visits. I'm sorry. If you were stupid enough to get caught for something you knew that was wrong, do the time. We'll see you when you're out. We don't visit inmates.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I never visited no one in jail, but I did write a few letters back in the day.
Yeah, I'll write you. I'll send you some money for the commissary, so you're not anyone's bitch over there. But that's it. That's it. So you can buy yourself some cigarettes and socks, and toothpaste. But other than that, we'll see you when we see you, boo.
Shit, I saw 60 days in. I don't know if I want to send you money because they be preying on the people that got the money in jail. They're like, oh, he fresh in. he got some money. Look at his bag. They be on you. They got money.
Yeah, it depends. It depends if you a soft target, like when it comes to men, yeah, you're gonna get extorted in prison. But if you show that you are willing to take it there,
You can
like
buy
then
yourself some good friends over there. Say, hey, I have the money, I have the power. No, but seriously. Or just it's like I have the money. If you want some cigarettes, you better don't make sure nothing happens to me. Because if something happens to me, you ain't smoking shit.
Well, Brittany Garner better fucking teach them bitches how to play ball out there or something. She better wing what she know
You know
while
what?
she out there. She better make
Okay,
it
you know
work.
what she can do? KP, you know what she can do? She can teach the female prisoners how to play basketball.
Yeah, she could
Yeah,
become
she
somewhat
could.
of a
They
prison
tell
That's
her.
it.
coach. Sure. Hmm.
They probably ain't gonna reduce her sentence for that though, but
I
maybe
say
it'll
let
help.
I say let us I say let us stay the whole 9 years.
How old is she? Is she in her 20s to 30s? How old is this girl?
Who
Brittany
cares?
Griner.
I mean, it matters. It depends on
Yeah.
how much life she'll have left.
I mean, she won't be a ball player anymore. I'll tell you that for sure.
See, she missed her whole career out there.
But who
Well,
goes
like
to
I said,
Russia? Oh my God, she's dumb as hell. I'll tell you. I'll tell
well,
you what's her age. She is 31 years old.
yeah, it's
well,
a wrap.
she can say thus be done to her basketball career.
Yep.
Well, she gonna turn up for her 40th birthday then.
Yeah, it's a wrap. She won't be getting out until yeah. And that's if she stays. Like, but Biden,
If she does the 9 years and they keep her,
Biden want to keep their base. If he want to keep his base, he's gonna have to try to figure out something to
shit, Biden probably haven't lived that long.
yeah, that's a strong possibility too. That's a strong possibility too.
I just
Uh
don't think that she's going to. I think we're blowing this out of proportion. This lady, in all honesty, we need to leave her there.
Yes,
Damn.
I
I
agree
Girl,
that
let her swim with
I
the fishes.
agree.
They said,
she is
they said,
she
dog got a deep.
yeah, and I get it. A lot of people might say, "Oh, that's anti-gay or that's anti-black." That's not because she's black or she's gay. I said it. If she breaks out of prison successfully and makes it to Poland, I'm down for putting even money so we can pick her up, bring her back home. But
That's what I'm saying.
we're not gonna give
Me,
up a
Break her
freaking
out will help her.
terrorist for her.
That's
not
not gonna
me.
happen. It's not gonna
Not me.
happen.
I say not
if
me. I
if
say
if if the United
if she gets to
States
Poland, send her back to Russia.
and then on top of it, let's not forget that she's going to be sentenced to hard labor in Russia. That's not like prison here.
But
And on
she wanted
top
to
of
be a
it,
man, though. She wanted to be a
yeah,
man.
and then on top of it, if like what Ramon was saying, how that's not going to happen. If the United States gave up this international Lord of War um gun runner, we'll be the laughing stock. This arms dealer, we'll be the laughing stock of the world.
No, that's how I know. That's how I
Oh,
know.
that's another
They're
thing
not
that I
gonna give
forgot
him
to
up.
say. I don't think her wife can visit. That's another thing. Because isn't being gay a crime in Russia though?
No, I don't think so.
John, don't
I
think
don't
it's
think so.
gay.
It's not. No. I don't think itself is a crime, but it is not
It's against the
promoted at
law.
all. It's not seen. It's not seen as something positive, though. But I don't think it's a crime there. I doubt it. I doubt it.
No, I don't
I
know.
mean, I know one thing. That look on her face, looking like a deer being caught in headlights, says it all on her experience over in
Hmm.
the Soviet Union right now.
I
I
bet
can
you
only
now none of
imagine.
the
Yeah.
WNBA players want to go to Russia now. They're like, nope, we're not going.
I know that's right. I
They're
know
like,
that's right.
F
They're
you,
like,
I'm not going.
I don't want to meet Mr. Putin. I think I'll pass.
Take that out my contract. We skipping that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be people that's going to decide that they're going to go other places overseas before they go play for Russia.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So back on topic, we're all about Brittany. Shout outs to her and her family. Hope it works out.
I hope she stays.
I say,
I say
I
let's
say,
leave her
let her
there.
stay the whole 9 years. Let her stay the whole nine
Ooh.
years.
Yeah, let her stay. Unless she's gonna break out, she needs to stay there.
Yes.
Damn,
Mhm.
yo.
Mhm.
Yeah, she does. I am so sorry. It sounds messed up,
Oh,
but
okay.
in all
Okay.
honesty,
Kayfabe.
like we're not
Kayfabe.
gonna compromise our safety for this lady just because she knows how to shoot a ball into a net. Bye.
She said, we
Look,
don't keep watching
look. What
hoops.
about all the people? Okay, excuse me, but what about all the people who come to this country and commit crimes over here? Are we gonna let them go free as well,
Listen, I don't know
or
much
it's
about her.
because
I didn't even know
she
she
can
was a
shoot
woman
a
beater
basketball
till just
hoop?
now.
Not only that, are we going to free the 40,000 people that are doing time for marijuana here in the US?
Mm-mm.
No, they've been doing decades for marijuana.
Well, I don't know. I'm not the judge, but if this shit is fucking legalized in all the states, they might as well fucking throw out them charges, depending on how much they had.
Well, it's legal in a medicinal way, but if you bring it to an airport, you can't do that in an airport. Try to bring weed into an airport. I'll send you money for the commissary.
No, I'm good.
Joking.
My passport
That is true.
expired.
Yeah. If you try to do that to any American airport, honey, again, we'll send you money for the commissary.
Mm, I know a God. I know a God. I know a God.
And
Damn.
another thing too,
Uh,
like they're not going to let those people out because we already know they still want some of those people for the labor in the prison system. So they're not going to let some of those people out. That was the whole point of, you know, with marijuana charges and different things like that. You can actually have people running your house, a SWAT team running your house with rifles and handguns looking for 6-7 pounds of marijuana. Who would have
Oh
thought,
God.
right? Back in the
Yeah,
90s and the
yeah,
early 10,000s and the early
yeah.
2000s. Now it's legal. And the funny thing is, you would think that with it being legal, the same people that was once targeted will be able to possibly start a business from it, but you have people that's trying to corner the market and excluding certain people from even the cannabis industry that they was once considered criminals of and being able to be charged as a felon. You would think that wouldn't be the case, but everything is a monopoly game in the United States to line people's pockets and make sure that they stay 2-3 steps ahead of the common folk.
Yeah.
One thing I will
Absolutely.
say, I think Brittany Griner will not receive her. One thing I will say, I don't think she'll get her hormones in there.
Oh, is she on treatment? On hormone treatment?
Have you heard her voice?
Oh, yeah.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I
Yeah.
get it. I have a squirrel's voice. I've been told that my whole life, but come on,
squirrels.
I think
you know.
I think
I,
her nickname by the time her sentence is over is going to be Brittany Grind Time.
ah, oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yes,
Look,
and it's gonna be bush in the bush, in the bush,
she
bush,
she
bush, in
talks.
the bush, in the
Look,
bush.
she talks like this, and her name is Brittany, the most girly name in the universe. You
Yeah.
know, like, come on. That is retarded. I love what Satin is saying. She's he or she. I don't know if he's a she. I think he's a she,
It's
but
a she,
okay.
female.
She says, I don't think anyone should do 9 years just for a little bit of weed. That's ridiculous, but that's Russia. That's not just Russia. Look it up by yourself. There's 40,000 people in the US still doing decades as a multiple here in prison for a
It's,
plant.
there's some places that's worse than that. It's some places where you would get the death penalty just for having
In
any
China,
type of
yeah,
drug.
in China. In China, and that's another thing. We want to copy China for the drug thing, but how about we copy China for corruption? If you are caught stealing public funds in Russia, you get the death penalty.
Sheesh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That our politicians don't talk about. How about we also, since we want to do China style things for drugs, let's do it for corruption too. It's so weird. But in
Uh,
here, I don't know if you
Denise,
guys, and I've said it plenty of times. Kamala Harris, you know, it's a criminal. This woman is literally keeping thousands of people in the state of California for cheap labor, people that were just incarcerated decades ago for marijuana, a drug that she has cackled on national TV after asked if she used it. But she decided to keep these people for cheap labor for the state. That's slavery for
Yeah,
something
people,
that's not even illegal anymore. It hasn't been illegal here since 1996.
and the
That's
funny
crazy.
and the funny thing is, look at Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is openly smoking crack cocaine. After 26 years ago, his father was saying how people that use this drug, this is one of the most dangerous drugs in the United States, and people that are selling this drug are some of the most heartless people that should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This was his own dad saying this, but do you see anything happening to Hunter Biden? No. And just like what you were saying with Kamala, Denise, after these people got up there, that she don't care. All of these people that she sent up the river was collateral damage to further her career as a prosecutor.
Mhm.
They don't care, and unfortunately, that's where race comes into play, because unfortunately most of the time it's young black men who have no knowledge of the law, and they want it that way, because as long as you have no knowledge of the law, I can get you to cop out to a plea bargain because you're too afraid to challenge the charges that we're throwing up against you, or you don't have the money to challenge the charges that we're throwing up against you. And if we get you an attorney that's provided to you by the state, more than likely that attorney is in cahoots with the prosecutor to be able to get you on some type of plea bargain where you're going to end up in jail anyway. So it's all a big game. It's all a
Yeah,
big game
yeah.
for
There's
for
people, and
profit.
it is the same thing that's happening right now when we're trying to mass incarcerate Latinos. That's what's coming in 2024, regardless of who wins, and I want people to understand that. But in
Mm-hmm.
all honesty, for drugs, let me tell you something. It sounds crazy that we at this point in the game we're penalizing people that sell something that people in America love to use. How about we make responsible the people that consume these drugs? We don't want to do that. We will never do that. Now that's called a disease. How about you know that drugs are bad for you and you don't touch them? Because that's how
uh,
I was taught.
Denise, you know what's the answer to
Definitely
that?
not.
Denise, you know what the answer to that? Would you like to say it, or should I even say it?
No, you go ahead.
You say it.
It makes too much sense.
Yeah. And I don't get these people, like you have
Mhm.
chocolate, you have soda, you have fast food. Why you need drugs? Why?
Well, not the same
If
effect,
anybody
but
think they're a celebrity or a movie star,
Yeah, it's so weird. But then let's blame the drug dealers. No, the drug dealers are supplying you with something that you might consume one way or the other. How many people are just addicted to Oxy and Percocet and fucking Vicodin and all this stuff and morphine,
and
you
let's
know?
not forget that they're still glorified. Even though we don't see drug dealers the way we used to back in the 80s and 90s, that's still a very glorified lifestyle. And for some reason, still people in minority and low income areas, kids and people look up to these people for some reason, still to this day.
Yeah, they
Well,
yeah,
look up
but
they look up to
Kanye
them
said it the
because
best way.
God.
Growing up, we looked up to the dope man because it was only the dope man that wasn't broke, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's what it
that's the
comes from.
reason that, because if you think about it, who grows up thinking, oh, I want to be a drug dealer? No one wants to risk their lives and their freedom just to make extra money. It's just, it's a life that's in many occasions chosen for you. And I get that a lot of people will say, no, you can always go to college and you can work. That's very easy to say when you have not had this particular experiences. It's very rare that you'll be able to do that when you grew up like the majority of these people do. Again, think about the logic. Logic tells you that no one wants to risk their lives and their freedom just because it's lovely. That's not reality. They're doing it because there's a need.
As an
Mhm.
adult, I've had to do so many things I haven't wanted to do, and it was definitely a pivotal moments where I felt like, damn, this is life. This cannot be life. Like, I've definitely been on unemployment, welfare. I've definitely like been outside selling bottled waters as an adult because I've hit rock bottom, like, but still you keep going, you
Yeah.
don't give up momentum, you find your niche, you do the BS jobs, you're overqualified qualified for, you'll be undervalued, at just to get where you got to go, you don't make excuses, you just continue to try to be better. So some people just feel like, what, F school, F the 9 to 5, I'm gonna sell drugs because this is the fast, legit money. But we all know what comes with that lifestyle, jail or the grave.
Yeah, and in many occasions, and I know this based on what I've seen in my own family. I have a sector of my family that's involved in the life of crime. And what we see is that sometimes these young boys are sons' husbands. And imagine having on your back your mom, your sisters. Some of your sisters have kids, and that's all on you because there's no daddy to look up to, or daddy has passed away, or he was just another low life that your mom decided to lay with because she had no better discernment. And that's on you. And you're 16, 17 years old. Who is guiding this kid to actually think about something? And does he have the time to, wait it out and make his, what he considers to be his family, wait 10, 15 years until he makes something out of himself? There's no guidance, no mentorship for these children and these teens. So unfortunately, here comes the older gangbanger and tells them that they're part of something bigger, and they believe them, and they see it as a way of making money in a fast way to provide for their families, laying their lives for these mothers that are unruly and these siblings and this family that they have to now take care of at such a young age.
Yeah, and then we have these glorified TV shows that's on TV and on social media, all these stupid apps that show how lucrative this lifestyle can be if you work as a hitman or an agent, or if you join an elite team, or if you work for this person and that person, you get money under the books, over the books, or whatever the case is, or these little BS security jobs that are really not security. They're bouncer slash security slash deposit person slash all these little scams and schemes that are really no good and no one should be involved in. But a lot of people get these gigs that really end up being like, really not what they expected it to be, especially if you have a criminal record, you can't get like a regular job, and you fall into these traps as an adult with grown kids or baby kids, and this is you at adulting, you may not have a 9 to 5 job. It may be the street life or the scam life or the illegal life forever for you because your mindset says you don't have time for the straight life.
Yeah, it's quick money, but it's at a very high risk, and we know what the consequences can be. I mean, because I saw it. I saw it when I was growing up, when I was younger, and I saw some of the kids in my neighborhood that I was growing up with fall into temptation, and many of them ended up either in jail or getting killed. I saw that a few times, and it's like I didn't want to get involved with that, and I could have. I could have. I could end up being a user. I could end up being a vice. But I saw so many junkies. I saw so many junkies around when I was growing up, and I was like, I didn't want to. I don't want to end up like these guys. I mean, end up living in the street. because of their vice that they can't shake off. There is also that, uh, and other guys, either I knew I was cool with or that I beefed with, that they ended up getting their heads blown off. Because that's a thing. That's a thing in Puerto Rico. That a lot of massacres, a lot of shit going down.
It's so
Puerto
many
Rico, it
things.
happens happen. Yeah, it's a money thing.
Even the boosters, the scammers, the people that do the bank frauds, the check frauds, the debit frauds, the scanning of your debit card, walking by you right out your pocket, scan the numbers to your phone and your credit cards and everything, and get into your finances and your account. Like, there's so many situations people get themselves to, even like abusing systems such as welfare, lying about applications to get free money, or manipulating medical insurance. Like, there's so many like trip ups and loops and ways people abuse the system that make it hard for people when you actually have a moment of downfall, or rock bottom, or struggle moment, where sometimes these services that are supposed to be lined up to support you, they can't support you sometimes because people abuse them so badly that when you need the
Yeah,
support, it's not there for you, and you end up doing something illegal or wrong to get what you need, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It ends up being abused because there are people that seeing as a, kind of like their own alternative lifestyle. I mean, they see that's kind of like another way to live, another way to get by. They don't understand that it's supposed to be temporary until somebody gets back on their feet, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, assistance when it comes to welfare and things like that. I don't have a problem with that when it comes to actually it being used to help somebody who is actually trying, who is actually making an effort to do things the right way, but they just need a little help. That's not a problem. But yeah, but unfortunately, there are people that do abuse that. And
Yeah, and then there are people that tell you that if you rely on those type of supports or resources or tools or systems, that you'll never get the job that'll really get you off of it. To always end up depending on it, or some people may get lazy and content on it and may not have any ambition to get off it. To be that adult to take care of the household. So like, there's many factors. With this adulting thing. I see it in my own family, in my own friendships, my own circles of people. Some people just stay stuck and complacent in
mhm.
an area that just seems, easy to ride by. You don't need much ambition or motivation to get out of that spot. It's cozy, it's cool. There's constant support and dependability around you. So you don't gotta strive too hard, because you know what? You're getting a regular check, you're getting a regular income. You don't gotta, go outside, you don't gotta buy a Metro card, or you don't gotta commute to work. You can get a regular check and just be home, and you can finesse the game the best you can.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know when this is gonna come to an end? In my opinion, when we
When?
continue to have more and more people in welfare that we can actually, provide
You have
for.
several contacts named Richard
Hold
Asher.
on.
Well, there are people that are thinking, have this mentality that is they should get rid of welfare because what is presented in the media is just that a certain minority. They are the ones that are abusing welfare. But the thing is that if you if they were to take away welfare, they will have to take away welfare for everyone.
I don't
And
think
there
they
are
should. I think they should take away of people. This is how they should do it. Because we know there's people that have rough times.
no,
Welfare,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
it's supposed to be maximum 2 years. You have 24 months to get your shit together. And you can never ask for welfare again until 10 years.
Um,
So
I
every 10
understand.
years, you get 2 years.
Okay, but you see the
That's how
way
it's
the
supposed to
system.
be.
I understand that, Denise, but the way is principle. You have two different types. Actually, there's several types of welfare. You have welfare that's for single, no, for those who don't have children, and that's for 24 months, supposedly. And then you have welfare for those who have families, and that's for 5 years. Um, Unfortunately, we're dealing with a situation where we have two, three, or even four generations of people on public assistance. And the whole thing about this welfare reform was supposedly to put an end to it. And actually, what was the original idea was that after 5 years, there would be vouchers. There's still people on public assistance, and like people who've been on public assistance for 10, 15, almost 20 years.
Yeah, and they're gonna that's the thing, that's not regulated. It's like I keep saying, that should be 2 years, no matter what. 2 years, we're gonna give you everything: food, house, cash, and
Yeah,
access to
but
transportation. 2 years. After 2 years, that's it. We don't want to see you for another 10 years.
yeah, but the reason that the reason that it's been happening the way it's been happening without the regulation is because there has to be an upside to it, and it has to do with controlling people, controlling a population. I mean, because if they wanted to regulate it and make changes on it, they would have done it already. They will have done it already. So there it has to be some kind of an upside to keeping things the way they are when it comes to it. There has to be something. Somehow the government is getting a benefit out of it. There has to be. They would have changed it already if it wasn't that detrimental to everyone around, to the system, to the people. Somebody's getting something out of it. They will have changed it already. They will have made the changes and taken back and put limitations on the accessibility. But if it's not regulated, like you say, there has to be something to it, something that we don't know about, something that somebody's benefiting from it. That's how I look at it.
Like even during the pandemic, I remember being so jealous of people that were like on unemployment, were getting like a stimulus check, or it was like some kind of stipend that was coming out for a period of time for people. Pretty much, it was like working class people were getting their regular paycheck, but people who weren't working were getting like unemployment plus some kind of stipend that came out for about a year, and they were like living their best lives, like really at home every day, collecting all this money while working class citizens, minority, people that are middle income, low income, and working were like not struggling, but like almost doggone paycheck to paycheck. We were getting stimuluses, for like a 6 week period or like a short time frame period, but they were like a large group of people that were unemployed, getting a stimulus, getting an unemployment check, and was making like thousands of dollars a week staying home. It was just crazy. And it's like that
Um,
money was just used just not appropriately, in my opinion, by the government.
um, unfortunately, there's certain things that I cannot state as an municipal employee. But you wouldn't believe some of the stuff, some of that's gone down. KFIT, I'll speak with you on the telephone because unfortunately, the fact as a municipal employee, there's certain things I cannot discuss here. And what you're talking about is a perfect example.
Okay, so we'll skip about on that. If you guys have a comment, you guys can comment on that, if anything.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about it. I can't really comment when it comes to that because I've never been on any of that. So I really don't
Well,
know. So yeah.
well, like I said, unfortunately, due to the nature of my employment, I
Yeah.
cannot get. I mean, I cannot discuss this here
Yeah.
because
You're bound by some kind of
Okay,
Yeah.
understand.
confidentiality
Thank
agreement,
you.
something.
We're
Yeah.
gonna move on
Jose,
from that.
Jose has been canceling everyone food stamps and their Section
Oh.
8 and their.
daughter, you know
Oh,
me. That's not. You know that's not the case.
Jose's be like, I woke up, hoy me levanté virado. I woke up today on the wrong side of the bed. Everyone's getting the night, with with the stamp, the night, the night, the night, the night. I don't care.
Yeah.
Denise, are you sure
You
Denise,
hear
are
it
you
saying
sure
the night and the sound of a stamp is something going like,
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
you've been denied, denied, denied.
daughter,
That's
daughter,
Jose every Monday.
daughter, do you want me to get in trouble with my employer?
Oh my God, nah. They're not gonna. They know you're a sweet employee until you get mad on Mondays. I gotta wake up. Ramon, do the noise. The night.
You've been denied. Get out of my office.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he's not that mean at work.
No, and if this ghetto princesses come at him, you better check your voice unless you want me to take away your food.
Well. Hopefully that she doesn't threaten to bring his boyfriend, to bring
Oh
her
my God, would
boyfriend or
you
something.
imagine?
No,
But you,
no, no. I
but
don't
you,
want.
but
I
you
don't
know,
want you to deal with that.
but you know, one thing I can say, there is a law in New York City which states it's a felony
Mhm,
to assault a municipal employee if
mhm.
the person's being assaulted performing his duties.
So you see, he can deny your food stamps and get away with it.
Yeah.
Deny. Clack it. Clack it.
And his sentence is 7 years in prison.
Oh
Dang.
my! You see that he's very well informed on this stuff. So you know
Yeah.
already what's up. We know already what Jose's been doing as a municipal employee.
Well,
Do
remember,
you
I'm
do you
old.
want me to deny your health care?
Yeah.
Do you want
And
me to deny?
he has the stamp on his hand. Look at it. Huélela, huélela.
Smell it. Smell it.
Smell the stamp. I got the stamp, the night stamp on hand. So you better act right. You better act right.
Well,
Or else the night stamp you out of here.
well,
Yeah.
guys, I'm also a union delegate, just like KFIT. But the difference is, I'm also a welfare fund trustee.
Oh my God! You
Okay.
see what I'm telling you?
Oh, he's
He
the
mentions.
gatekeeper.
Yeah, he mentions all those titles to the people. They're like, who they do you think they're going to believe, you or me?
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Do you like the place where you're living at right now? I can take it away too. Keep
They're
this
gonna
going.
wait and show it the nice stamp. Look at it. Look at it. Huélela, huélela.
Out.
The nice stamp. Look at it. Look at it. Smell it. You better
Jose,
smell it.
oh my God. Jose will be like, I could not sleep yesterday because there was a damn dog by the window. Just test me. Test me today. Test me. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Ay, carajo. Damn,
You know
Jose.
what? You know
You're
what,
gonna.
Denise? Just remember, I have the chancleta ready for you.
You see that I know you have practice with the
Yeah,
knife.
yeah.
The knife
Oh
stamp.
man.
You see what
Oh
you
man.
see that I'm telling you? That's how he goes to the office.
Oh man.
The knife, classic, the knife.
Wow. So I think we learned a lot about adulting tonight as far as some of the solutions, and the solutions definitely fall with us taking responsibility and accountability of our actions and working on, practicing, just trying to be better, trying to do things, not necessarily taking everything we've seen our parents do in our household, but some things that apply to us. Some things we can leave that, really didn't apply or didn't sit well with us. Um, I'm not sure if all the things I read earlier when I shared my screen will apply to everyone, but I guess all you can do is try, like Denise and everyone in the chat said, is, try to find a therapist, try to find a way to really, get to that generational curse breakdown, like try to like really, really shop around until you find the right one that really helps you. And don't get too
Mhm.
cozy with them, don't spend years with a therapist and then see no action or no change, or see yourself having the same conversation, so definitely like challenge and push the envelope, but have grace with yourself as well, because you are only human. So yes, you will make some of the mistakes your parents may have made. It's genetic, it's DNA, you came from both of them, so you may see yourself in some of the same parallels. But when you do see those parallels, it's good to try to like do something about it if you don't like where you see yourself going. So adulting
Yes.
is going to be hard. And
Yes.
any
Yes.
comments or any feedback you guys want to give me on that from your perspectives or points of view?
I want to say something, as a continuance on what we were saying last week. A lot of people blame their parents in an ineffective way. And something we must understand is you are who you are today. Your character is who it's what your character is today. Most of it due to your parents' upbringing and shaping, but you gotta see the good aspects of that. If your parents were overly critical with you, well, see the positive aspect of that stuff. It's negative, but see the good parts. That's something that helped me, and I discovered that in therapy. See the positive aspect of that. It's kind of like what I said with the authoritarian style I was brought up with. I
Mhm.
yeah, I used to, get very confused because I was like, why is my dad, always this way? Why is everything overly critical? Why he demands so much of me? But then now I see, I'm a woman that was an immigrant here in this country. I've been here for over a decade. I was able to surpass a lot of people that I know personally that came back home. And I owe that to the parenting style my dad shows. At that time, it gave me a lot of negative feelings, and it has negative impacts in it, but it also has positive impacts in my life. And we gotta own both. We can't just stay in one side and say, oh, this person did all this to me. Because even though our parents messed up, they did not do that with malicious intent. They had in their hearts the intention of making something great out of you. And it might not have happened, but it's not necessarily their fault. Probably they didn't have the information. But again, use the stuff that they mess you up. Try to see on your day-to-day life, how did that also contributed to positive traits that you have. That is called balance. And I think that's one of the basis for great adulting, and to also be grateful for the way we were brought up. Correct the bad, embrace the good, and live a balanced life.
When it comes to what you were saying, Keifi, about the therapy, Denise, you mentioned something about that. And of course, it is important to a degree. I should be applying that advice to myself, given what I'm going through, because I'm dealing with a lot of grief. And why is that? And I will be the first one that to say, if somebody's going through a very difficult situation emotionally, that they could get some counseling and some help with that, even though that's advice that maybe I should be following, but I'm not doing it. Maybe that is part of the reason why I seek out these live streams, where I do get to talk to people, and I do it kind of like to compensate on that, because that's kind of like my own way to try to handle this. But when it comes to the therapists themselves, counselors, therapists, this is something that we were talking about a little bit earlier. That if there is something that health professionals know, is that there is a lot of money in treating something that is not going to be cured, that may not have a cure, or it's very difficult to find a cure. So you treat it and you treat it, and there is money in that. So try and get treatment to all the way to get a cure all the way, to have it actually cure, and not just keep going to some kind of a therapist that is only gonna tell you a few things, but not really get you to where you need to be, where you are gonna be a completely healed person. Uh, but to a degree, we all need some type of healing, but maybe you do need to get the help, maybe the aggressive help that could more potentially get you to where you need to be a completely healed person and to be really cured. Because there could be a scam in that too. I mean, you are going to a therapist and you feel like you're not progressing, and that's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they think that they are trying to get help, and they're getting counseling, and they're getting therapy, but it's not going anywhere. It's not really getting you the results that you need. Now, I can't say I only visited like a counselor one time. I didn't feel like it really helped much. Okay, being able to talk a little bit about what the problem was at that time, that was years ago. It may have helped a little bit, but I don't think it was really that big of a deal. It didn't make that groundbreaking of a change on me. But still, this is something that I have told my own sister even, because she's been so also very much affected by what we're dealing with. And I have told her, if you think that you need to talk to a health professional, mental health professional, do it too. Otherwise, uh, do activities, go out, spend time with friends, spend time with your significant other, and I say that to you guys too. I mean, if you think that you need help, don't be shy to get it. Again, I should be applying that to myself, but I don't have a problem relaying that forward if it's gonna help somebody. But something that I wanted to say, KFIT, I appreciate you letting me on your panel, and I have to go. I have to go. So I'm looking forward
Understood.
to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon again. I don't know. I know that I need to do a live stream, but I need a proper subject when it comes to that. But I look forward to talking to you guys again.
I have a subject for you.
Uh-huh. What's that?
Jago's wedding. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh,
Oh,
give me the separation.
No, not
J-
J-Lo.
Wait,
Jago.
you mean that she's sweating because she's dancing or something?
No, like her whole like have you seen the wedding? Like she looks like a pastelito de guayaba. Like a guava pastry. I'm like,
What?
okay.
Hey,
Is
one
that a
thing.
food item?
that's our non-voting congresswoman. She's a known lesbian. I mean, closeted.
Oh gosh.
But she got married, and we have the suspicion that's because she wants to become governor in 2024. And her wedding is the laughing stock of everyone. Like it's hilarious.
I'm sure
Wow.
because she's like twice the size of her husband, something like that. I saw a little something about that.
Triple the
Three,
size.
three times the size of her husband, and maybe she's the one who
Guys,
runs things
someone
in
It's
the
so
relationship.
bad. Have you
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
her profile when they were at the altar?
yeah. I
She's
saw her
horrible.
sideways, and she's big. She's just round. She's just a round thing. But something that I wanted, something funny that I wanted you guys to see really quick before I go. That they have. Let me. The coño, when I try to share something, it starts to act up. But I'm going to. This is funny. You're gonna like this, Denise, because I know that you're a fan. So I'm going to.
Wow. But
I'm going to.
remember, with her, if you have a problem with ingrown toenail, stay hurt for Puerto Rico is the solution. If you have a problem with hemorrhoids, stay hurt is the solution. If you have a problem with your relationship, stay here. Puerto Rico is the solution.
Oh my God.
Who was that?
That's
Bad
Bad
Bunny.
Bunny. The island hovercraft. That was at
I
the
like his
concert.
music though. I won't lie.
Yeah, there are some songs that are okay. I mean, I'm not really so much of a fan of the
I
new
am.
school.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
Bad Bunny. I
there
love
are some trap songs. There are some trap songs that I actually like because I heard this one with Osuna and I think it was Yandel that is called Solita that I heard it today. And that's a trap song, but it's actually pretty good. There are some trap songs in Spanish that are actually all right. I need to get to listen to more of that. And my favorite trap song is like "Me ama, me odia." Have you ever heard that one?
yeah, but you know what? Um, so you don't like nothing from the new school of reggaeton?
When it comes to the reggaeton, it's just that it's either Bad Bunny or everyone else that is trying to sound like Bad Bunny. So it's kind of
Look,
redundant.
I like Bad Bunny, Anuel AA. Who
No.
else? Let me think.
Yeah,
There's
because it is Anuel AA, Raúl Alejandro,
I don't
all
like
of those
Raúl
guys.
Alejandro. I can't stand Raúl Alejandro.
All
His
of those guys kind
music,
of sound the same.
his
Now,
music makes me want to jump off a bridge.
you see that
That's how bad his
Hey,
music is.
how about Jay Cortez? You think the
It's a
same?
hit. It's a hit or miss. I think Jay Cortez should have been a music producer, not an actual artist.
Okay. Yeah, he's the one who is with Mia Khalifa, who is the one who
Yeah,
used to.
yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah,
No,
Hold
yeah,
on. No,
yeah.
but
no,
seriously,
no.
I don't I it's very you know who I like a lot that's new gen? Nati Peluso. Me and MK, we're huge fans of Nati Peluso.
Okay.
Who else? We have someone else, but she's not that mainstream. I mean, but she does soul music. She does different things. She's not necessarily just urban.
Hmm.
But I love Bad Bunny. I love Bad Bunny a lot.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. He's like the guy now. He's the top talent, the very popular one. He just made a movie. Uh,
globally, he's the most listened artist of 2021 and 2022.
yeah. I
Globally,
mean,
you know how crazy that is, and in Spanish.
I love that
yeah.
song Esther Rico. I like that one.
Tariq, you know what? If you like that one, let me see. Do you like merengue, KFIT?
Yes.
You.
Then you might
Oh,
want to
okay.
listen. You like tropical rhythms and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do.
I'm gonna send you a few songs on Instagram, but you might want to look into Bad Bunny's latest album, Un Verano Sin Ti, a Summer Without You. You're
Ooh.
Yeah,
gonna
that's
love
what it's.
it.
Yeah, that's what it's named the new album, and it's kind of
It's
like a. It has tropical sound based, and it has even a merengue. One of his
yeah,
songs is an actual merengue and
I
club
love it.
sound too.
Look, when me
Haven't
and
heard it. Haven't
MK,
heard it. Yeah.
when we were watching his concert here, we were enjoying the whole thing. And at some point, because of course, we're in our 30s, we're already, getting older. We were like, oh my God, like I just want to fall asleep. It's been 2 hours of a concert. And then he played the merengue towards the end. And then we both automatically stand up, started dancing. Like, oh my God. For that, we stand
Yes.
up. For the rest, we were falling asleep. But for the
Oh,
most part, the album is good.
When I first
Um,
heard Esther Rico, all I kept singing was the hook to the top of my lung. Like, Gustave da Enrico. The
yeah.
dancing, two-stepping, like you couldn't tell me I wasn't like multicultural Boricua. I just felt all tropical, like screaming, Esterico, Esterico, like on stupid, like love it.
you're gonna
No, there are
love it.
certain. When What was that?
You're
Yeah,
gonna. I
Something.
think you're
ladies.
gonna love the album. I think Ramon, out of this album, when you get off here, just look up La Corriente
Mm-hmm.
because I think given your style of music, you're gonna like that one. There's something for everyone in this album. I'm not just trying to hype up Bad Bunny, but as a musician, I think that's my take on it. I don't love every song. I'm just
Okay.
saying it's one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse albums in the genre right now. So look up La Corriente with Tony Dice. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The last. Uh-huh.
yeah, ladies, I just want to let you know that this Monday night on my channel at 9 o'clock, we're gonna have the discussion. What do ladies look for in a quality man?
Oh Lord.
Mm,
Es
but
rico.
well,
Yeah,
que esté
yeah.
rico, que esté rico, que esté rico. That's what you
So,
got, que esté rico.
so I'm gonna share some. I've done some research, but I really would want the ladies to come, to hop in, to jump in, to share. You know, well, we know Denise you're spoken for, and KFIT, I don't know if he's spoken to, but we could talk about what ladies are looking for in a quality man.
Jose, that's
This
gonna
All
be a
right.
10-hour stream. You're gonna
yeah.
get girls
Yeah,
talking about
because
you
it's gonna be a long
forever.
ass.
It's
It's
gonna be
gonna
like a
lo-
Christmas wish list.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a long ass list. So it's gonna be a long stream. So it's gonna be a marathon.
No, I don't think so. Maybe we'll keep it under 2 to 3. Can we have it at 2 or 3 hours?
No, you're gonna have to do overtime with that one.
No, no, you're gonna have to do a part one, part two, part three, part four.
Part
That's
one
the
is
way.
gonna have to be about the looks. Oh, part two is gonna have to be about the bank account.
Yeah, yeah. A whole live stream just about one aspect. Damn, it's
Well,
gonna be a long. Yeah.
well, what I'm trying to do in season 4 is trying to bring up topics which ladies can relate to. So
Okay.
this is okay. So also, I'm asking the ladies if they had any suggestions as far as topics I should discuss. Please hit me up in Instagram, and what I'll do is I'll do the research, and then when we have the stream, I'll ask for the ladies to jump in, and they can share their point of view. Because
Well, I
unfortunately,
need a
Mhm.
lot
Okay,
of
guys.
ideas. I'll
I'm
give you
gonna
the
I'm
topics.
gonna head out. Oh, because
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
to eat something. But it was a pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you, KFIT, for allowing me to be here and share my thoughts.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate you both.
Problem. Take care. And
All
we
thank
have
you,
to
right.
talk
Denise.
about
Now,
that business idea about coaching women. I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, we do. It could be a thing. I think so.
Yeah, we need to. I'll reach out to you on Instagram. Take care.
Okay, have a good night. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
take care,
All
Denise.
right.
All
Yeah,
right.
and yeah, I was also on my way to. But again, I appreciate you, KFIT, for letting me on your panel. There was one more thing that I was gonna say, but I forgot. So maybe for next time. So I'm looking forward to participate in another one of you guys' streams. So um, keep sending those links out so we can connect and we'll talk again. So I appreciate you letting me on your panel, and you guys have a good one.
You too,
Yeah.
Ramon. Be safe. Take care.
Um, yeah, Ramon, whatever you do, try not to lose your cool.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I should will try, and I should have to because now you talk about losing one school. I mean, down here where I live, I have to be extra cool. Have to keep an extra cool head because wherever I go, I carry self protection. So I definitely have to keep a cool head. You can ask Rakim; he knows what I'm talking about because that's something that he does also. He's somebody who protects himself, carry his self protection with him, and he understands the importance of keeping a cool head, an extra cool head at all times. Because if one is a hot head and carries self protection at the same time, that could be a dangerous situation because hot heads, short fuses, definitely I will agree that there are people that shouldn't be carrying anything, that shouldn't have means of self-protection. Because I know that I can keep a cool head in a situation, so that's how I am comfortable carrying a means of self-protection. And being conscientious of it and knowing that if I were to use my protection, it's because it was as a last resort. But you can ask Rakim; she understands what I'm talking about. But with that say, guys, appreciate it. It was a great thing to be able to talk to you guys. I'm looking forward to the next one. And now I do have to go. I have to. There's something I have to take care of. So you guys have a good night. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye
good
bye.
night.
Jose, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, first of all, as always, thank you for allowing me on your platform. And the fact of the matter is, um, we are the product of our parents or grandparents or parental figures in our lives. So, sometimes we inherit some not so nice stuff. Sometimes we inherit good values. So what we need to do is put emphasis on the good values that we receive and put aside those bad values. And when it comes to therapy, just be mindful of what you're seeking in a therapist, and just like you described to a doctor any medical ailments, you feel free to do that with a therapist, but it has to be a quality therapist. That being said, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you people, good people, Monday night on my platform at 9 p.m.
Will do. Take care, Jose. Have a great evening, and thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you.
by. Well, Hakeem, I'm not sure if you're still there. Anything you'd like to add? I know you were here with us for a good amount of time. You stepped out a little bit. Anything you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks once again, KFIT, for allowing me to be on your platform. This was definitely a great topic because we know as adults we suffer through a lot of trials and tribulations, and just trying to be responsible and get bills paid, and take care of the kids and everything can be a very very rough experience, and we just try to find ways where we can get through. We try to find ways where we can enjoy ourselves sometimes to take our mind off the stress of dealing with every day to day life. And it's always just interesting to be able to come on your platform and discuss topics like these. So thank you once again for allowing me up.
No doubt. I really appreciate you too. I really wanted to have the opportunity to tell you how much I enjoyed your stream. You invited me on a few weeks back when we were like singing all horrible to the 80s, 90s, and 2000s songs. That was so cool because that's definitely my alley and my realm and my comfort zone of what's in my phone, what I go through when I'm in the mood, whatever my situation is. I'm definitely pulling stuff out of all of those genres of music and eras of music. So that was super cool and dope. Definitely never did anything like that. Was trying to go for that with my Zumba today until Instagram told me, "Bitch, you tried it. You
I
better
was
demonstrate."
I was watching. I was watching. We're gonna have more streams like that in the future. You know, I want to definitely do another stream that I did with a friend of mine. I want to do a part two to that, to some of your most memorable moments in high school and most embarrassing moments in high school, not just high school but middle school, because I know for us as black kids growing up in the inner city, whether it be places like New York, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, school can be very rough, but it can be interesting at the same time. So I would love for you to come on that stream. And also, I will be doing, more streams in the future about uh, black music, and more streams in the future about some of the most impactful black shows that we grew up on, and cultural, most impactful black movies that we grew up on as well.
Well, that definitely sounds super dope. That's what I love about YouTube. When you come on YouTube, you see so much diversity, but you see a lot of similarities at the same time. But there's so many different diverse things you're gonna see, and even with Jose and you and Denise and Ramon and Golden and Morena and Radical, everyone has their own lane, their own thing they do, their own style, their own swag, their own touch, their own taste to what they do. So that's what makes interesting, YouTube so interesting because you can see a lot of the same things done differently, but that different person who stands out may get your attention versus the so many common people that have the same look, same sound, same energy, same layout. So that's what I love about YouTube, because again, there's a lot of people doing wine videos. Some people on the cellar with their wine, some people at a road table with food in front of them, likely eating food with a whole bunch of girls. Look at me, I'm doing something totally different. So we're all connected, and adulting is something we're all gonna go through at some point, whether you have a kid at 18, 21, 31, 40, does not matter. We're all going to relate to that. We're all going to relate to what our biological parents or step parents or grandparents told us and taught us as kids. And some of that is going to definitely stick with us. And we're going to definitely implement some of that accidentally or coincidentally, to our children. And, again, they will do the same thing, they saw with their offspring and their children. So it's really important to have these conversations. And I thank you for coming by. I really do appreciate that.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Usually, YouTube is no holds barred. You definitely have to be careful because you do have a lot of strange people on YouTube. It's like the streets, it's certain places that you wouldn't go to in the streets. I know out there in New York, different parts of the Bronx, of Brooklyn, and even parts of Queens and stuff like that. There's certain parts that you won't go to on YouTube is the same way. It's certain spaces you gotta watch out for because you have people that are, they don't have the best intentions, but you also have a lot of good people, normal people on YouTube that just want to get up here, interact with people from different walks of life, have fun, and you know, embrace people's differences, and at the same time, find common ground with your similarities. So,
Absolutely, so I'm definitely, staying not too much in the YouTube streets thanks to you and the whole squad of Jose Negron and the non-Colton Spirit and Colton Spirit people. Definitely haven't had no run-ins with no gangster YouTube thugs yet, so thank God for that.
absolutely, absolutely, they around. They definitely around, but they not nobody to really pay any type of close attention to anything. Because one thing I realized, you either got people that's gonna try to solve their own problems and do what they need to do, or you got people that's gonna look to try to destroy other people to make themselves feel better about their issues that they may be going through personally. And those are the two types of people that we deal with on a daily basis on and off of YouTube. So they don't pose a threat. They don't pose a threat. It's just one thing you got to watch out for because you got a lot of sick people that try to dox people in real life on YouTube just because they don't like a person's personal opinion or view on something. And those are the people that you got to watch out for the most. But other than that, everything is all good.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, thank you again for coming through. I'm definitely wrapping this up. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and everyone who stopped by. When is the next time you're going to do a live video?
I'm definitely going to do a live video probably sometime next week. And I was going to do the topic on race because there's been a lot of tension that has arose. I'm not sure what's the climate in New York after the Jose Alba situation, but between that and the Tiger video with the YouTuber named by American Cholo, I wanted to touch into Black and Latin relations and go into anti-blackness and talk a lot of things about that subject. I usually don't do subjects like that on my stream, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to speak about a few things and at the same time get an understanding and common ground on certain things.
Okay, well, I'll definitely make sure I turn post notification on. So like I'll just start noticing when you're going live, even if it's random. So I'll be able to look out for it. I noticed you go live a little bit later in the evenings, like midnight-ish. So I'll have to look out more for that, like later on after 8, towards the wee hours of the morning. That's when I normally see you going live late.
Yeah, yeah, because I know that's when everybody usually is inside, but I think I might be doing that a little bit early. I think I'm gonna be doing that around probably about 7 to 8, and if I do it around 7, it'll, East Coast time be 8 p.m. because we're on Central, so I'm an hour behind.
Okay, no doubt. Well, thanks again, as I said, and I'll definitely be catching up with you soon. Hope you have a great weekend. It sounds like you're driving, so please be safe and don't be doing too much with the phone and the wheel. Like, please be safe.
Thank you very much, KFIT. Once again, thank you for allowing me on your platform. And yeah, I am driving. I just stopped to get some fast food. Actually, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm hungry. So,
Well, you have a good night. I'm gonna just say some closing words and wrap it up. So I'll catch up with you soon. Okay?
all right, catch up with you. Thanks again. You have a good one.
You too. Bye bye. Well, folks, this has been record breaking. Not only have I talked for 3 hours, I had several guests on the platform. I wrapped up Adulting Part 2 with all of the commentary of the panel guests and the viewers in the chat who gave great advice and tea. I read some literature via share screen about things you can do when adulting, and I can only hope some of us actually apply these things in real time to our real lives to try to be better than what we learned, and to set the best examples for our children and their children. And I hope we just begin to start to take accountability for, where we know we need support, whether that's therapy, hands on, remotely, with the phone or computer, or, you doing therapeutic things. I hope we all just get to that point where we're just not blaming our parents for how we ended up, and we're actually taking accountability for what roles and parts we played with ourselves and how we show up for our children. That's the long and short of it all. So that's it. That's all for me. Thank you again for logging in with me and joining me, guys. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're still rocking out with me, appreciate all the comments, all the tea, all the panel guests. Shout out to Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Shout out to Latin Splaining with Denise Gonzalez. Shout out to Suds and Satins. Shout out to Introvert Bariqua. Shout out to the 18th Letter. Shout out to MK's Echo Chamber. Shout out to everybody who came through and showed me love. Shout out to everybody who came through and saw my 8 a.m. live workout this morning. Everyone who watched this entire 3 hour and 9 minute stream. Shout out to all you guys. Again, next week, I will be at a pop up shop in New Jersey from 1 to 7. There's a good possibility there may not be a wine and FaceTime, and there may not be an 8 a.m. workout because I'll be doing a lot of preparation for the pop up shop in New Jersey as I've been promoting all across my social media platforms. So, again, I possibly will go live there depending on what the reception and everything is set up like. I'll definitely show some pictures and some videos of the engagements, the vendors, what we're doing, how it's looking. I'll do my best to show all of that for you guys. In addition to that, I hope to make a good deal of money as well. So I'm definitely logging out. I appreciate you guys so much. Definitely doing big things here. I've got a 1.9K view stream here on one of my shorts. The fish videos have been phenomenal and amazing, getting well over 100, 200, 300 views every time I post a fish video. So shout out to my fish. I guess this is a sign that the fish need their own channel. So I'm gonna introduce a fish playlist for the aquarium lifestyle because the fish videos get more likes than my wine and FaceTime videos, honestly speaking, and my workout videos. Only videos that it hasn't, surpassed are my hair videos at this point. So That's it. That's all for me. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all of my recent subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I'll be showing more of me as time goes on. I'm wrapping up the KFIT free online workouts for the summer. We're winding down for the last few weeks of summer. So I have maybe 2 or 3 more weeks of online free training where I'll be doing random workouts. And that's a wrap. We're going back to school. Life kids go back to school. So the free workouts will be over. And yeah, that's it. That's all for me. So again, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Please make sure that you're following me on all my social media platforms. Any questions, ideas for topics, concerns, please make sure you send me a DM. It's all good in the hood. It's been real with you guys. Take care and have a great evening.